Chapter 11:16. No matter how strong Ningqing was, he was only one person. His everlasting blue thunder fort wasn't omnipotent. A silver arrow tore through the everlasting blue thunder fort's lightning defense, ignored Ningqing's domain, and hit Ningqing's chest. Blood spurted out of Ningqing's chest. Not only the everlasting blue thunder fort, but the Yellow Springs Bridge's aura also weakened instantly. This arrow dissipated Ningqing's essence qi. Then more than 10 magic treasure lights took the opportunity to pass through the everlasting blue thunder fort, tearing more than 10 wounds on Ningqing's body. This person can't make it. Everyone, put in more effort. He's just a Dao transformation cultivator, and he killed so many people. He must have a great secret, someone shouted. This guy is also a body refinement expert. Otherwise he would have been blasted to pieces. Ningqing's cold gaze landed on the Dao Essence Divine Emperor, who broke through the everlasting blue thunder fort. He didn't hesitate to shoot a dark consciousness explosion. If it wasn't for that arrow, he wouldn't have ended up like this in such a short time. The Dao Essence Divine Emperor saw Ningqing look at him and sneered. It was a waste for a Dao Transformation Divine Emperor to have the Seven Bridges Spirit Art. As a Dao Transformation Divine Emperor, using the Seven Bridges Spirit Art against some Dao molding and Dao nourishment cultivators was a disgrace. So what if you look at me? He didn't even bother to take back the silver arrow. He just wanted to rush towards the everlasting blue thunder fort and take Ningqing away. Just as this thought appeared in the Dao Essence Divine Emperor's mind, his sea of consciousness suddenly shrank. There seemed to be a danger that even his domain couldn't stop. What was going on? The Dao Essence Divine Emperor raised his hand and was about to take out a defensive magic treasure when he felt his purple palace being pierced by a needle-like thing. An aura of death filled his body. It seemed like his sea of consciousness was bound and his body was filled with a terrifying but violent aura that didn't explode. Not good, this. Before the Dao Essence Divine Emperor could fight back, Ningqing's dark consciousness explosion tore through. The Dao Essence Divine Emperor's head suddenly exploded with blood rain. His essence spirit seeped out, and he didn't dare to stay for even a second. He immediately escaped. Unfortunately, Ningqing didn't use all his spirit sense to activate the dark consciousness explosion. Plus, his spirit essence was weak, so it couldn't kill his essence spirit. Feeling extremely weak, Ningqing could only swallow a few Empyrean consciousness transmutation pills. A Dao Essence Divine Emperor who was still outside suddenly had his head explode. The cultivators attacking Ningqing all paused for a moment. Some even retreated. Ningqing seemed to have some kind of shadowless and invisible means of attack. This kind of means that no one would dare to not fear. Regardless of how much time he would have to temporarily retreat, it would also give Ningqing precious time to catch his breath. Ningqing once again took out a few pills and swallowed them down. The void cold light spear once again rolled up a ripple, as he wanted to stimulate the twin wings of the heavenly clouds to escape. Not only does this person have the wood origin bead, but he is also a wanted person of my boundless palace. Everyone, let's attack together. My boundless palace's primordial chaos holy emperor will arrive soon. As long as everyone can hold him back, everyone will be an honored guest of my boundless palace. As his voice fell, several powerful rays of light bombarded Ningqing's traceless spear pattern, which had broken through the spatial blockade. Ningqing paused for a moment, but before he could leave, he was once again stopped. Ningqing took a deep breath. He knew that not only were his injuries not light, but his essence qi had also been severely damaged. If he couldn't leave before the primordial chaos holy emperor arrived, then he would never leave. The boundless palace's people had arrived and directly said that Ningqing was the person wanted by the boundless palace. The originally stagnant attacks once again moved forward, and dozens of weapons rays of light bombarded Ningqing. However, things didn't go as the boundless palace's people expected. After the boundless palace's name came out, everyone rushed forward. Most people didn't come forward to attack. Instead, they slowed down. Several Dao Essence Divine Emperors, who wanted to come forward, directly stopped in their tracks. With the boundless palace's intervention, they could forget about getting the wood origin bead. Although the boundless palace's reward was precious, it would never be the wood origin bead. When they thought that Ningqing could explode someone's head invisibly, Several Tao Essence Divine Emperors felt a chill in their hearts. If they could get the Wood Origin bead, they would naturally take the risk. But now, they desperately rushed forward, and the Wood Origin bead had to be given to the Boundless Palace. Who would be willing to try? Ning Chung swallowed several spirit explosion pills, and the Yellow Springs Bridge's Tao runes around Ning Chung became even clearer. The surging Yellow River was like the nine heavens Milky Way flowing backwards, directly sweeping towards these cultivators rushing over. The Yellow Springs was boundless, without good or evil. The soul turned to dust, the spirit lost. The Yellow Springs Tao runes came wave after wave, and another dozen divine emperors were swept away by Ning Cheng's Yellow Springs Bridge, disappearing into the Yellow River. This time, Ning Cheng didn't retreat. Instead, he moved forward. The Void Cold Light Spear swept towards the Boundless Palace's early-stage Tao Transformation Divine Emperor. The spatial distance disappeared, and time stagnated. The huge difference in strength made this Tao Transformation Divine Emperor unable to fight back at all under Ning Cheng's Void Cold Light Spear, and was torn apart by the Void Cold Light Spear. After killing this Boundless Palace's Tao Transformation Divine Emperor, Ning Cheng became even weaker. Because Ning Cheng had consumed too much energy, the side effects of the spirit explosion pill appeared prematurely. Even though everyone knew that Ning Cheng was an arrow at the end of its flight, no one was willing to go forward and die. They knew that as long as a few more people went forward, Ning Cheng would definitely die. In a situation where the Wood Origin bead was reserved by the Boundless Palace, no one wanted to take this risk. There were many people here, but no one was willing to work together. They were all thinking about how much they could get, and how much they had to pay. After Ning Cheng killed the Boundless Palace's Tao Transformation Divine Emperor, the surroundings paused for a moment. This second pause finally allowed Ning Cheng to use his twin wings of the heavenly clouds. Go back and tell Feng Xian that what I said before counts. I will definitely visit him. After leaving this sentence, Ning Cheng's figure disappeared. The Boundless Palace's powerhouses didn't come. Although there were many people stronger than Ning Cheng here, no one went to chase after Ning Cheng. The reason was that the Boundless Palace's people shouldn't have said that Ning Cheng was wanted by them. It wasn't that the Boundless Palace's reputation wasn't good, but that the Boundless Palace's reputation was too great. That's why no one dared to take away the Wood Origin bead and other things from the Boundless Palace. If not for the Wood Origin bead or the other things on Ning Cheng, who would be willing to chase after Ning Cheng? It wasn't until a few breaths later that someone shouted, "This person is wanted by the Boundless Palace. How can we let him go?" With this sentence, everyone controlled their flight-type weapons to chase after Ning Cheng. There were only a few people following behind Ning Cheng. Most of the people quickly dispersed. They were happy to do things for the Boundless Palace, but it depended on what they wanted to do. In a blink of an eye, only the space in the bustling Fallen Wood Temple was still surging, indicating that a bloody battle had just taken place here. Boundless Palace. Feng Xian stood with his hands behind his back. Below him was a pretty young woman. Before Ning Cheng went to Luo Yitian's Void City and joined forces with that Mang Yong. Find out which Void Cities he went through and which teleportation arrays he used. Even if he came from beyond the heavens, I will find out where he came from. Feng Xian's tone was a little cold without any warmth. He had never seen such an arrogant Tao transformation ant before. He, Feng Xian, would let Ning Cheng understand what kind of existence the Boundless Palace was. Yes, Palace Master. The pretty young woman bowed to the ground. After responding, she slowly retreated out of the room. Grand Essence Realm's Heaven Essence Sacred City, the premier sacred city of the Grand Essence domain. Today's Heaven Essence Sacred City was more prosperous and lively than before. No matter who it was, owning a mansion in Heaven Essence Sacred City was a matter of face. After Ning Cheng won the third place in the Five Realms Pill competition, the reputation of the Pill Association rose. As for Ning Cheng's reputation, it was like the sun in the sky in the Grand Essence Realm. Situ Chun Chiu Tian's reputation had also reached a peak. Coupled with Situ Chun Chiu Tian's perfect Tao heart, the Pill Association became even more famous. The only regret was that Ning Cheng didn't come back. According to Situ Chun Chiu Tian, Ning Cheng had to do something in the Grand Change Realm before he could return. Knowing that Ningcheng and Situchen Qiutian had a good relationship, those who wanted to visit Ningcheng came to the Heaven Essence Sacred Cities Pill Association to visit Situchen Qiutian, and even visit the Three Sword Mountains. In addition to wanting to make friends with Ningcheng, they also wanted to visit Ningcheng to get a spot in the Grand Change Realm. Ningcheng won the top 3 in the pill competition and got a spot in the Grand Change Realm. The Grand Essence Realm was one of the 5 Grand Realms. Unfortunately, the laws here weren't complete. Those who could cultivate to primordial chaos all had their own opportunities. As for Tao Unification Holy Emperors, there were only a few in the entire Grand Essence Realm. Moreover, when they reached Tao Unification, they didn't rely on the Grand Essence Realm's heaven and earth laws. It's just that Ningcheng didn't come back, and Situchen Qiutian couldn't make the decision for Ningcheng. In the beginning, everyone could still accept it. But one day, when the news that Ningcheng offended someone in the Grand Change Realm and ended up being killed, those who wanted to make friends with Ningcheng couldn't wait any longer, because this rumor was too real. Even the details of the Luiying Dao Court's Wading Sacred Dao City's city lord, Lu Fengzhen, started to spread. It also said that Ningcheng left the Alchemy Dao sect during the 3rd round of the 5 Realms Pill competition. Then Lu Fengzhen followed him out. But after that, there was no news about Ningcheng. If the various forces in the Grand Essence Realm could still wait for Ningcheng to come back, now that the news of Ningcheng's death came out, the sects waiting for Ningcheng to come back became restless. They started to ask the Pill Saints who had gone to the Grand Change Realm about the situation. Although a few of them remained silent, it made everyone believe that Ningcheng had truly died. With Ningcheng's death, the forces who wanted to go to the Grand Change Realm no longer had the patience to wait. The Heaven Essence Sacred Cities Pill Meet was already packed with forces from all over the world. They came here for only one purpose, that is, to ask Situchen Qiutian to hand over the spots to the Grand Change Realm. Union Master Situchen, my River Luo Sacred Sect only needs 2 spots. Situchen Qiutian said in a deep voice. Dao friend Tongmingzi, I've said it many times. These spots belong to Pill Saint Ning. He won the 3rd place in the Pill Meet. I have no right to allocate him a spot to the Grand Change Realm. The one who spoke was Tongmingzi, who had a grudge against Ningcheng. After hearing Situchen Qiutian's words, he spoke up in an unfriendly tone. Union Master Situchen, you're the Union Master of my Grand Essence Realm's Pill Meet. You should consider the Grand Essence Realm. Why are there so few Dao Perfection Holy Emperors in my Grand Essence Realm? Why aren't there many Primordial Essence Holy Emperors? It's because the Grand Essence Realm's heaven and earth laws are incomplete. Now that everyone has a chance to go to the Grand Change Realm, you want to stop it from happening? What do you mean by this? What's more, even if these spots belong to Ningcheng, he should have given a few to my River Luo Sacred Sect. I won't mention that he killed my disciple Guahauga, but he and my River Luo Sacred Sect's Shan Yaotzen are Dao companions. Can't he just ask for 1 or 2 spots? Dao companions? Situchen Qiutian frowned suddenly. How come he didn't know about this? Pill Saint Ning and my 9 Revolutions Sacred Dao Pond have always been friends. He even personally proposed marriage to my 9 Revolutions Sacred Dao Pond. Many people have heard about it. I believe that 9 Revolutions Sacred Dao Pond should be able to ask for 3 spots. Everyone knows that Profound Moon Spirit Gate's disciple Qi Shixingsing and Pill Saint Ning are friends. It shouldn't be too much for my Profound Moon Spirit Gate to ask for a spot. Fei Feng's tone was equally blunt. As for the conflict between him and Ningcheng, he directly ignored it. Chapter 11:17. Ningcheng knew that the Realmless Palace's Feng Xian would come looking for him, but Ningcheng did not worry about it. He had traveled from Duo Ti Void City to Luo Etian Void City for at least 6 to 7 years. After that, he was trapped in the Jiaoliang Mountain for a few years. No matter how powerful the Boundless Palace was, it was not easy to find him. Even if they found it, it would be many years later. Many years later, he might even reach Dao Essence. Dao Essence was the second step of Dao Vindication. It was a huge difference compared to Dao Actualization Divine Emperor. No matter how powerful Feng Xian was, he was only at the second step of Dao Validation. One day, It would be his turn to settle the score with Feng Xian. As for what happened to the Grand Essence Realm pill because of him, Ningqing didn't even think about it. Of course, if he was in the Grand Essence Realm, wouldn't the 9 Revolutions Sacred Tao Pond and the Profound Moon Spirit Gate also want a spot? Get out of my sight. By this time, Ningqing's starry sky will had been flying for more than a year. He didn't take the original route back. Instead, he took a detour to another Void City before slowly heading towards the Cyan Light Void City. He did not need to return to the Duo T Void City at all, as there was a 5-realm Void City teleportation array in the Green Light Void City. On the deck of the Starry Sky Wheel, Yanji leaned against Ningqing's shoulder and let Chasing Bull control the Starry Sky Wheel. After all these years of seclusion in the mysterious yellow bead, Yanji's cultivation had already stabilized. After knowing that Ningqing was injured, she did not go into seclusion again. Can I also call you Xiaoqing from now on? Yanji, after listening to the matters between Tian Muwen and Ningqing, suddenly spoke up. Ningqing smiled and spoke. Of course my name is Xiaoqing. I'm different from her. Even if I die, I won't humiliate you in front of another man. I don't like this woman. Compared to elder sister Luofei and elder sister Qianghua, Tian Muwan is simply 2. Yanji was not used to scolding Tian Muwan behind her back. As such, she did not continue to speak. In her opinion, Tian Muwan gave the pearl hair clip that Ningqing had given to another man and deliberately threw it into the sewers, which was an extremely heavy insult to Ningqing. Ningqing hesitated for a moment before speaking. You can't blame her for this. In the place where I live, this kind of thing is not a big deal. It was normal for men and women to separate and reunite. It's just that I don't like it, so even if that thing didn't happen, I'm afraid the 2 of us wouldn't be able to be together. Tian Muwan's personality was too strong. Perhaps she herself was not aware of it. When she was weaker than him, he might not have felt it. If she was stronger than him, it would be difficult for the 2 of them to get along. I guess she regretted it. Otherwise, she wouldn't have given the wood origin bead to you. Yanji thought of being by Ningqing's side. In comparison, she felt much happier than Tian Muwen. Ningqing was silent. In any case, Tian Muwan was his first lover. Even if they were to separate, he didn't want her to feel unhappy. Originally, he had planned to purchase the wood origin bead from Tian Muwen, but he didn't expect such a thing to happen. Xiaoqing, you already have the wood origin bead. Why don't you improve the mysterious yellow bead's world? Yanji, on seeing Ningqing remain silent, knew that he was probably still thinking about Tian Muwan's matter, and quickly changed the topic. Ningqing gave out a sigh. I was thinking that if one day I managed to find the breath soil, then I would have perfected the mysterious yellow bead's world in advance. At that time, I would definitely regret it. Ningqing knew about the origin of the 5 elements spirit water. It was the water that condensed within the good fortune world the moment it formed. Most importantly, if his good fortune world didn't have the breath soil when it formed, the mysterious yellow bead wouldn't have produced the 5 elements spirit water when it gathered the 5 elements origin to form the good fortune world. Therefore, if he wanted to obtain the 5 elements spirit water, he would have to obtain the breath soil and use it with the wood origin bead to form the good fortune world. Yanji already knew about these things. Seeing Ningqing sigh, Yanji quickly tried to persuade him. Maybe one day, just like when we obtained the wood origin bead, we would suddenly learn about the breath soil and obtain the breath soil. Ningqing nodded. That's the only way. The mysterious yellow bead is now habitable, and we don't have to worry about the aura leaking out. It doesn't matter if we form the good fortune world later. Then, are we going to Jiangzhou Star? Yanji knew that Ningqing didn't feel at ease with Ning Ruolin and Ji Luofei. Jiangzhou Star will have to wait. After I advance to the Tao Essence realm, I'm afraid that my cultivation would still be too low. In a low-level interface like Jiangzhou Star, the laws of heaven and earth would suppress me. If I can reach the Tao Essence realm, my understanding of the breaking laws would go to the next level. Even if it suppresses me, I might be able to resolve it. Ningqing held Yanji's hand and spoke softly. He wanted to take Yanji to the Dragon Cleansing Pool and the mysterious fairy ancient clan's annual rings for cultivation. Only those places could help him advance to the Tao Essence realm in the shortest time. Grand Essence Realm Pill Meet. With several big sects taking the lead, the rest of the sects also stood up. Even some small sects came forward to ask for a spot to enter the Grand Change Realm. Not to mention that Ningqing wasn't here. Even if Ningqing was here, he couldn't come up with so many spots. Union Master Sichun, take a stand. Entering the Grand Change Realm isn't just a matter of one person, but a major event for our Grand Essence Realm. Seeing Sichun Xiaotian not speaking, Tong Mingzi's tone turned even more stiff. Sichun Xiaotian spoke up calmly. I said that no one can make a decision for Ningqing except for Pill Sage Ningqing. Suddenly, a sneer came from the door. Sichun Xiaotian, if it really concerns Ningqing, then you should take a stand quickly. Not long ago, my Grand Essence Realm's extraterritorial spirit spring seemed to have been destroyed. As for who destroyed the Grand Essence Realm's extraterritorial spirit spring, I'm afraid everyone already knows that it was Ningqing. Since Ningqing destroyed the Grand Essence Realm's extraterritorial spirit spring, it's only natural for him to come up with a few spots. Otherwise, even if he died, he wouldn't be able to escape the crime. I suggest you come up with a few spots to help you and Ningqing. Seeing the newcomer, Tong Mingzi and the others felt happy. It was Man Huishan, who had a deep grudge against Ningqing. Sichun Xiaotian didn't like to cause trouble, and immersed himself in the Tao of alchemy all day long. But it didn't mean that he was afraid of trouble. A person who was afraid of trouble could never become the most influential Pill Union's Union Master in the Grand Essence Realm. Everyone's aggressive tone made Sichun Xiaotian's face turn cold. He suddenly stood up. Everyone, please do as you please. My Pill Union will not keep you any longer. As for the spots to enter the Grand Change Realm, no one can make a decision except for Pill Sage Ningqing. Today, you have to agree whether you want to or not. Man Huishan's tone turned even tougher, even containing a hint of murderous intent. Man Huishan's tough stance surprised the others. The Pill Union's strength didn't mean that the declining barbarian dragon clan could bully them, right? I won't agree today. What do you think? Sichun Xiaotian's tone turned cold. If you don't agree, then die. Another voice came over, followed by a terrifying suppression that felt as if the entire sky would collapse. At this moment, not only Sichun Xiaotian, but even the rest of the people turned pale and retreated. A powerful spatial binding force came over, and Sichun Xiaotian felt horrified to find that he had been suppressed. The vast and boundless imposing aura directly locked onto him, making it difficult for him to breathe. Sichun Xiaotian's mouth overflowed with a trace of blood. He raised his hand with difficulty and brought out a huge pill furnace. Boom! The pill furnace had just formed a furnace shadow barrier in front of Sichun Xiaotian, when the terrifying suppressive aura slammed into the pill furnace. The pill furnace rolled back and smashed into Sichun Xiaotian's chest, sending Sichun Xiaotian flying, and crashing into the pillar of the Pill Union's hall. After Sichun Xiaotian perfected his Tao of alchemy, his cultivation grew stronger day by day. But under such a powerful force, he could only put up a slight resistance. Boom! A dull noise emerged, and the various restrictions and array formations in the Pill Union shattered under the suppression of this power. The pillar of the Pill Union's hall also collapsed. Boom boom boom. Like a chain reaction, after the Pill Union's main hall collapsed, the landmark of Heaven Essence Sacred City instantly turned into ruins. Even the medicinal pill suspended in front of the Pill Union was taken away by someone. The moment the Pill Union collapsed, everyone escaped and looked at the newcomer in shock. Pill Sage Sichun Xiaotian's strength was unfathomable, and he was someone with the strength of Tao fusion, who seriously injured Sichun Xiaotian in just one move, and then tore down the powerful Pill Union's array formation? It's you, Mansuatian. Sichun Xiaotian's mouth overflowed with blood. He sat paralyzed in the ruins of the Pill Union and stared at the newcomer coldly. No one could tell Mansuatian's age. He had a medium build, a bald head, and a horn in the middle of his head. Hearing that Mansuatian came, no one dared to speak anymore. In the Grand Essence Realm, the barbarian dragon clan wasn't much. But in the Grand Essence Realm, no one dared to provoke the barbarian dragon clan because the barbarian dragon clan had a Tao perfection expert, Mansuatian. Under normal circumstances, Mansuatian never came out. No one knew why Mansuatian came out of the Grand Essence Sea this time. Yes, it's me, Mansuatian. I heard that you have a good relationship with Ningqing? That Ningqing killed my barbarian dragon clan's disciples. Is there such a thing? Mansuatian's tone turned cold, and a powerful killing intent enveloped Sichin Qiutian. Sichin Qiutian slowly stood up and spoke with a calm tone. Mansuatian, you're a Tao perfection expert of my Grand Essence realm. Yet, you destroyed the Grand Essence realm's pill union in public. You. Sichin Qiutian grew anxious, and anger filled his heart. Mansuatian spoke up calmly. You left out another thing. I not only destroyed the pill union as a Tao perfection expert, but I also nailed the pill union's master. Before Mansuatian's voice fell, a black light shot out from his hand. A powerful space domain shackled Sichin Qiutian, making it impossible for him to move. The black nail passed through space and nailed Sichin Qiutian's glabella. Sichin Qiutian's eyes flashed with extreme unwillingness. He had just comprehended the mysteries and joys of the Tao of alchemy. But before he could find a way to prove his Tao of alchemy, a madman killed him. Mansuatian waved his hand, and Sichin Qiutian's ring fell into his palm. He looked back at the people around him with cold eyes and said with a calm voice, I have all the spots to go to the Grand Change realm. If you want them, come and trade with me. Chapter 11-18. The Void City of the Five Realms was the same as when Ningqing first arrived. There were all kinds of people coming and going. Ningqing once again came out of the Five Realms Void City's teleportation array, feeling a little excited. Once he reached the Five Realms Void City, it meant that he could return to the Grand Essence Realm in a little more than a year. Flying in the void for the past few years had been too lonely. Yanji couldn't accompany him all the time. She had to return to the mysterious yellow bead to cultivate. Although Ningqing's cultivation progress inside the mysterious yellow bead was very slow, but Yanji's cultivation speed was very fast. Yanji always felt that her cultivation was too low. She wanted to become stronger, at least when Ningqing was besieged. She would have the ability to help Ningqing. In the past, even if she did not have such cultivation conditions, she would still crazily cultivate. But now that she had such conditions, even if she wanted to be intimate with Ningqing, she knew that she would have plenty of time in the future. Unfortunately, the Starry Sky Will did not have an artifact spirit. If it had an artifact spirit, then his speed would not only be a bit faster compared to Association Master Sichin, but many times faster. Thinking of Sichin Qiutian, Ningqing's heart was filled with gratitude. Sichin Qiutian also had his own selfish motives. Compared to most people, Sichin Qiutian was more suitable as a senior. He was very broad-minded and sincere. If it wasn't for Sichin and Qiutian, he wouldn't even be able to cross the mysterious ancient clan, let alone participate in the Five Realms Pill competition. He had given Sichin Qiutian a lot of help, but Sichin Qiutian had given him even more. Walking out of the teleportation array, Ningqing decided to buy more void positional jade strips in the Five Realms Void Market before leaving. The Five Realms Void City led to various realms. The jade slips there were very complete. Ningqing was not familiar with the streets of the Five Realms Void City. The last time he came to the Five Realms Void City, he had met Qianqian on the street. It was also because of Qianqian that he had rescued Shi-Er and perfected the Fifth Reincarnation Bridge. The Fifth Reincarnation Bridge was also one of his trump cards. The last time he was surrounded by so many people, he had only used the Fourth Yellow Springs Bridge and not the Fifth Yellow Springs Bridge. The God Spirit Qi in the Void Marketplace wasn't abundant, but there were many powerful people here. Ningqing's Tao Actualization Divine Emperor power was like a drop of water in the ocean. Coupled with Ningqing's disguise as an ordinary young rogue cultivator, no one cared about him at all. There were tens of thousands of such people in the Five Realms Void City. The Five Void Commercial Building was the largest commercial building in the Five Realms Void Market. In terms of scale, it was several times larger than the Great Simplicity Commercial Building. Since Ningqing wanted to purchase all kinds of map jade strips, he naturally had to go to the Five Voids Merchant House. The Five Void Merchant House had a lot of people, and Ning Cheng could even say that he had squeezed his way in. He came to the map jade strip counter, and was just about to ask the shop assistant to take out all kinds of void directional jade strips for him to see when he heard someone say, "Senior apprentice Sister Yautsen. The weapons here are much better than the ones in our Grand Essence realm. Moreover, the prices are also much cheaper." Senior Sister Yautsen? Ning Cheng looked back in doubt and immediately froze. Not far away, there was a woman wearing a green dress. Her skin was as white as snow and her eyebrows were slender. This woman was indeed Shan Yautsen. Wasn't Shan Yautsen from the Grand Essence Realm River's Luo sacred sect? How could he appear in the Five Realms Void City? He remembered the first time he saw Shan Yautsen. This woman's eyes grew on top of her head, and she simply didn't put others in her eyes. However, she was indeed a beautiful woman. Back then, her long hair was tied into a fairy bun, and her immortal charm and cold temperament blended together, making it hard to forget. This time, Shan Yautsen's long hair didn't tie into a fairy bun. Instead, it was tied behind her back, which made her look less cold and more mature. The Grand Essence Realm's laws aren't complete. Even if there are a few good things, they wouldn't be sold in a commercial building like here. Are you Dao friends from the Grand Essence Realm? Did you come to the Five Realms Void City to buy things? Or do you want to go to the Grand Change Realm? A Dao Nourishment Holy Emperor next to Shan Yautsen, and the others asked with a smile. Ning Cheng didn't know the two people standing with Shan Yautsen. Now that someone took the initiative to ask Shan Yautsen, and the others immediately became vigilant. It's not the time for the Five Realms pill competition, or the artifact discussion. People from the Grand Essence Realm shouldn't be able to go to the Grand Change Realm. Someone immediately said. That's not necessarily true. Pill Sage Ning of the Grand Essence Realm won the top 3 of the Five Realms pill competition. That's because of his strength. The top 3 can go to the Grand Change Realm to cultivate. You mean Pill Sage Ning Cheng? By the way, I heard people say that he refined the Heaven and Earth Epiphyllum pill with 9 different attributes. He's even stronger than Pill Sage Yuguji. It's really amazing. Of course, I heard that Pill Master Ning was also invited by the Grand Change Pill Gathering's leader, Senior Mu. I'm afraid it's hard to find a genius alchemist like Pill Sage Ning in a million years in the Grand Essence Realm. Not to mention the Grand Essence Realm, even in the Grand Change Realm or other places, there's no such person. What do you think would happen if Pill Master Ning took the initiative to participate in the 3rd round? Some people quickly forgot about Shan Yautsen and the others and shifted their attention to Ning Cheng in the Grand Essence Realm. Shan Yautsen and the others looked at each other in dismay. Ning Cheng's reputation was so great that everyone in the Grand Essence Realm knew about him. What they didn't expect was that Ning Cheng's reputation was just as great in the Five Realms Void City. Not only was his reputation resounding, but he was also respected and praised by many cultivators. Only the Dao Nourishment Holy Emperor, who first talked to Shan Yautsen and the others, still smiled and said, "If the 3 Dao friends came here specifically to buy weapons, I'm very familiar with the major merchant houses in the Five Realms Void City." Shan Yautsen and the others immediately became vigilant. But before they could speak, someone next to them asked, "Dao friends from the Grand Essence Realm, can you tell us about Pill Sage Ning in the Grand Essence Realm?" A woman with Dao sculpting cultivation next to Shan Yautsen quickly cupped her fists and said, "Pill Sage Ning is known as the #1 Pill Sage in the Grand Essence Realm. He's also Senior Apprentice Sister Yautsen's Dao companion." Senior Apprentice Sister Yautsen went to the Grand Change Realm to find Big Brother Ning. "You're Pill Sage Ning's Dao companion? No wonder. I was wondering why you're qualified to go to the Grand Change Realm. It turns out that you're Pill Sage Ning's Dao companion." The group of people who were still talking about Ning Cheng immediately changed their attitude towards Shan Yautsen, and the others with a hint of respect in their eyes. The Five Realms Void City belonged to the Five Realms, but the real boss of the Five Realms Void City was the Grand Change Realm. The Grand Change Realm attached great importance to alchemy talents, and Ning Cheng ranked 3rd in the Five Realms pill competition without participating in the 3rd round. Not only that, but Ning Cheng was also the first pill sage to receive Mu Wuxiao's favor and an invitation. The Five Realms pill competition was the top pill competition in the Grand Change Realm. Getting top 3 in the 5 realms pill competition would automatically improve one's status in the Grand Change realm. Just for this alone, Pill Sage Ning's reputation wasn't something ordinary people could match. Shan Yaotzen was Pill Sage Ning Cheng's Dao companion, so she naturally received the respect and envy of everyone. Shan Yaotzen nodded calmly. Yes, I'm Ning Cheng's Dao companion. He hasn't returned to the Grand Change realm, so I'm going to see him. Everyone, please disperse. Many thanks. Sure enough, Shan Yaotzen took the initiative to admit it, and the people around her immediately dispersed. Whether they could get to know Shan Yaotzen, Pill Sage Ning's Dao companion or not, no one wanted to make Pill Sage Ning's Dao companion unhappy. As for the Dao Nourishment Holy Emperor who spoke to Shan Yaotzen before, he had already disappeared into the crowd. Since Shan Yaotzen took the initiative to admit that she was Ning Cheng's Dao companion, almost no one doubted it. With Shan Yaotzen's temperament and appearance, it was normal for such an extraordinary woman to become Ning Cheng's Dao companion. Looking at the crowd making way for her, Shan Yaotzen felt very satisfied. The kind of comfort she had been pursuing all this time filled her heart with pleasure. She liked the feeling of being respected and looked up to by others. Ning Cheng looked at Shan Yaotzen in the distance and frowned slightly. When did Shan Yaotzen become his Dao companion? He and Shan Yaotzen had always been at odds with each other, and they even had conflicts. Thinking of this, Ning Cheng quickly squeezed out and caught up with Shan Yaotzen's trio with cupped fists. 3 Dao friends. I heard that you 3 Dao friends came from the Grand Essence realm. I would like to ask if Association Master Xichen is leading the team this time? Xichen Xiaotian? The 3 immediately looked at Ning Cheng with vigilance. Ning Cheng's strength far surpassed Shan Yaotzen's trio, so he immediately felt this vigilance. He asked Xichen Xiaotian why he looked at him with such vigilance. What's your relationship with Association Master Xichen? Shan Yaotzen stared at Ning Cheng and asked in a flat tone. Ning Cheng's powerful senses immediately sensed the indifference and hostility in Shan Yaotzen's tone. This kind of subconscious expression couldn't hide from him at all. Shan Yaotzen was a disciple of River Luo sacred sect. Since she got a place to go to the Grand Change realm, it must have been given by Association Master Xichen Xiaotian. She should be grateful to Xichen Xiaotian. But this kind of indifference and hostility didn't seem right. It's like this. My master is the Grand Change Pill Association's Dao Essence Pill Sage, AI Musheng. I was about to have an alchemy duel with Association Master Xichen last time, but I didn't expect Association Master Xichen to leave in a hurry. If Association Master Xichen comes, I will quickly report to my master and arrange an alchemy duel. Ning Cheng quickly said. Shan Yaotzen frowned slightly. Why would your master and Association Master Xichen want to have an alchemy duel? Speaking of an alchemy duel with Xichen Xiaotian, Shan Yaotzen's hostility weakened a bit. If Ning Cheng didn't know about the conflict between Shan Yaotzen and Association Master Xichen, then he would have lived in the void for so many years in vain. Ning Cheng's expression changed and he spoke with a slightly tough tone. Because my master doesn't like Xichen Xiaotian. He's just a Grand Essence Realm Pill Association's association master. Yet he's so arrogant and doesn't know what's good for him. Just tell me if Xichen Xiaotian is in the Void City of the 5 Realms. If he is, I'll go find him myself. Shan Yaotzen smiled. I'm afraid that won't work. Association Master Xichen has been punished for some matters, and can't come here for the time being. What? Ning Cheng froze. Punish Xichen Xiaotian? Who would have such courage? Even the sect masters of the top 10 sects wouldn't have the guts to talk about punishing Xichen Xiaotian. Right? After Shan Yaotzen finished this sentence, she ignored Ning Cheng and turned around to leave. Ning Cheng frowned and didn't continue to chase after her. At this moment, he couldn't wait to fly back to the Grand Essence Realm and ask what was going on. Moreover, Xichen Xiaotian had given the Grand Change Realm quota to these sections. Yet, not only did Shan Yaotzen not feel any gratitude towards Xichen Xiaotian, but her tone also contained a hint of hitting someone when they were down. Did these people's consciences get eaten by dogs? Chapter 11-19. Ning Cheng didn't even have the mood to buy the Void Positional Jade Strip. Instead, he teleported away from the Five Realms Void City as fast as he could. A year later, Ningqing stood on the starry sky wheel with a hint of excitement on his face. The Grand Essence Realm was right in front of him. 20 to 30 years away from the Grand Essence Realm might be a blink of an eye for other cultivators. But for Ningqing, who had just left Earth, it was a long time. Because of the Array Dao Jade strip left behind by Nianyan, Ningqing could get by without Yanji's company. During the few years on the road, his cultivation didn't progress much, but his Array Dao level almost surpassed the top Spirit Array Grandmasters. Even Ningqing himself could not estimate his own attainments in the Dao of Arrays. At this time, not to mention restoring the teleportation array to the 4 grand starry skies under the Grand Essence Sea, he could even refine some of the teleportation array's components. If his cultivation was strong enough, setting up a teleportation array between interfaces wouldn't be a problem for him. But on the way from the Five Realms Void City to the Grand Essence Realm, Ningqing found it difficult to calm down and deduce the Array Dao. He had always been worried about Sichen Xiutian's punishment. With Sichen Xiutian's strength, no one could punish him unless the top 10 sects joined forces. Otherwise, only Dao Perfection powerhouses could do so. Moreover, there were only a few Dao Perfection powerhouses in the Grand Essence Realm, and they were all seeking the third step of Dao confirming. How could they have the time to punish Sichen Xiutian? The defensive array outside the Grand Essence Realm was almost non-existent. Ningqing didn't have to exert much effort to enter the Grand Essence Realm. Thinking about the powerful protective array around the Grand Change Realm, Ningqing couldn't help but feel a little emotional. He wondered when the Grand Essence Realm would become like the Grand Change Realm. If the Grand Essence Realm wanted to become like the Grand Change Realm, the Grand Essence Realm's heaven and earth laws could be restored, and the realm's earth veins could be restored. But who would have the means to restore the Grand Essence Realm? Ningqing shook his head. He also felt that it wasn't realistic. After entering the Grand Essence Realm, Ningqing put away the starry sky wheel and entered the Heaven Essence Sacred City with the appearance of an ordinary rogue cultivator. He remembered the first time he came to the Heaven Essence Sacred City. Ningqing marveled at the prosperity and grandeur here. From afar, the Heaven Essence Sacred City looked like a floating city surrounded by white clouds. Moreover, it didn't have any forbidden flight restrictions. Perhaps this was a place where there was no flight restriction, but no one dared to fly here. After everyone arrived at the Heaven Essence Sacred City, they immediately put away their flight-type weapons and chose to walk into the city. After many years, when Ningqing came to the Heaven Essence Sacred City again, it still didn't have any flight restriction. But unlike before, there were several flight-type weapons flying around the Heaven Essence Sacred City. Some of them directly rushed into the Sacred City, while others flew out of it. They didn't care about the gazes of others. What was going on? Ningqing frowned a little. Just like before, he put away his flight-type weapon and walked to the entrance of Heaven Essence Sacred City. The entrance of the Heaven Essence Sacred City didn't have the same bustling scene as before. Although there were still a lot of people, it looked a lot more deserted compared to before. It couldn't compare to the reputation of the premier sacred city in the Grand Essence domain. How could there be such a huge change in just a few decades? Ningqing found it hard to think clearly. In his opinion, Heaven Essence Sacred City had existed for many years. If it wanted to change, it would have changed a long time ago. Why did it change when he left? What Ningqing didn't know was that Heaven Essence Sacred City had only changed in a few years. After entering the Heaven Essence Sacred City, Ningqing immediately went to the Pill Union. After an incense stick worth of time, Ningqing stood in front of the Pill Union in a daze. The Pill Union in the shape of a pill furnace had disappeared, and the big pill with pill charm lingering in front of the Pill Union had also disappeared. A new ship-shaped building had appeared on the site of the Pill Union, with the words Barbarian Dragon Merchant City written above it. Did the Barbarian Dragon clan occupy the Pill Union? Thinking about what Shan Yaotsen said about Union Master Si Chen being punished, Ningqing immediately thought of Man Suotian. Only Man Suotian had the ability to punish Si Chen Qiutian. But why did Man Suotian do this? He was a Dao Perfection Holy Emperor. When Ningqing recalled that Man Suotian was a Dao Perfection Holy Emperor, it suddenly dawned on him. Mansuatian was indeed a Tao perfection holy emperor, but the Grand Essence C was also part of the Grand Essence domain. If Mansuatian wanted to comprehend the third step of Tao confirming, he could only go to the Grand Change realm. Even if Mansuatian was a Tao perfection powerhouse, he wasn't qualified to go to the Grand Change realm. His strength was enough to dominate the Grand Essence realm, but he wasn't qualified to go to the Grand Change realm. Ningcheng's only chance was to obtain a quota for the 5 Realms Pill competition. With the quota for the 5 Realms Pill competition, even the Realm Lord of the Grand Change realm wouldn't find an excuse to expel Mansuatian from the Grand Change realm. As Ningcheng thought of this, all the clues connected. The quota he obtained to the Grand Change realm was in the hands of Sichen Xiaotian. Sichen Xiaotian might give it to other sects, but he definitely wouldn't give it to Mansuatian. Sichen Xiaotian knew that he had a grudge with the Barbarian Dragon clan, so how could he give his quota to Mansuatian? If Sichen Xiaotian didn't give the quota to Mansuatian, then how could Mansuatian give up in order to comprehend the third step of Tao confirming in the Grand Change realm? No matter how many Manjuran Ningcheng killed, Mansuatian might not come out of seclusion to settle accounts with him. But a quota to the Grand Change realm was enough for Mansuatian to give up everything. Ningcheng's heart sank. If Mansuatian took action, then Union Master Sichen wouldn't just be punished. Ningcheng didn't enter the Barbarian Dragon merchant house. Instead, he turned around and prepared to look for Sword Tri-Mountain. He didn't have many friends in the Heaven Essence Sacred City, but Sword Tri-Mountain and Cheng Hotian were trustworthy friends. Hijie? Ningcheng didn't go far before he saw an acquaintance. When he took the Pill Saint exam, Hijie had led the way. Because of him, Hijie had gained a foothold in the Pill Union. Since the Pill Union was destroyed, seeing Hijie at this time, Ningcheng naturally wanted to come forward and ask about it. Hijie lowered her head and walked in a hurry. She seemed to want to go out of the city. Ningcheng quickly stepped forward to stop Hijie. This Tao friend wait. Suddenly stopped, Hijie quickly took a few steps back and stared at Ningcheng with vigilance. I don't know you. Why are you looking for me? Ningcheng cupped his fists and said, I want to ask where the Pill Union moved to? Hijie's expression changed, but she immediately said, sorry, I don't know about this. After saying that, she turned around to leave. Ningcheng quickly sent a sound transmission. Hijie, I changed my appearance. You don't know me. I'm Ningcheng. You were the one who led the way to the Pill Union's assessment. Do you remember? Ningcheng had a lot of faith in Hijie's character. He had even given her a good medicinal pill. Hijie felt shocked. But she quickly reacted and sent a sound transmission. Pill Sage Ning, hurry up and come with me. This is not a place to stay for long. Hearing Hijie's words, Ningcheng knew that he didn't see wrong. An hour later, in a place far away from Heaven Essence Sacred City, Ningcheng stopped the airship. Hijie, what's going on with the Pill Union? Hijie's eyes turned red. Pill Sage Ning, Mansuatian killed Association Master Sichen. Everyone in our Pill Union saw it clearly. Not only did Sichen and Xiaotian die, but Mansuatian also killed many of the Pill Union's elders. Mansuatian broke into the Pill Union's headquarters. At first, no one thought that he would attack the Association Master. By the time others reacted, he had already made his move. Seeing the Association Master die, the Pill Union's elders immediately took action. Mansuatian was just too powerful. Moreover, no one from the other sects came forward to help the Pill Union. Plus, the Pill Union still had many experts who couldn't rush back in time. In that battle, Mansuatian turned the Pill Union into a river of blood and killed almost half of the Pill Union's elite Pill Saints. Mansuatian! Ningcheng roared. Sichen and Xiaotian could be said to be half teacher and half friend. With Sichen and Xiaotian's reputation in the Grand Essence realm, Mansuatian dared to kill them. Did he think that his Barbarian Dragon clan was strong enough to sweep away everything? Ningcheng clenched his fists until blue veins popped out on his hands. He couldn't wait to kill the Barbarian Dragon clan and uproot the entire Barbarian Dragon clan. But he also knew that he didn't have the strength to do so right now. Pill Sage Ning, you must be careful. Everyone thinks that you have fallen. If you show up now, once others learn about it, someone will definitely attack you. Feeling Ning Cheng's monstrous anger, He Jie quickly whispered to persuade him. When the pill union existed, Ning Cheng's appearance now was an honor and the object of everyone's pursuit. But without the pill union, Ning Cheng was just a child carrying gold. Ning Cheng took in a deep breath. Although he carried gold, he wasn't a child. He waved his hand and said, "You don't have to worry. Tell me the details of the situation." When the Elixir Association was attacked by Mansuatian, who left? Among those who came, who were watching from the sidelines, who spoke up to help, or did they lend a hand? Regardless of his friendship with Si Chun and Xiao Tian, even Ning Cheng himself was the second pill sage of the pill union, a Tao Essence pill sage. Mansuatian dared to risk universal condemnation and kill the pill union. Ning Cheng also dared to kill the barbarian dragon clan. The principle he pursued was not that there would be an end to revenge, but that he had to take revenge when there was a grudge. He Jie rubbed her red and swollen eyes, and began to narrate the situation that day. She also had deep feelings for the pill union. Without the pill union, there wouldn't be today's He Jie. An hour later, Ning Cheng calmly looked into the distance. He heard that the River Luo sacred sect also had a Tao perfection expert. Although he didn't come out, the River Luo sacred sect had stepped on his bottom line. After he advanced to the Tao Essence realm, the first thing he would do was to destroy the barbarian dragon clan. As for Mansuatian, even if he was a Tao perfection holy emperor, so what? Even if he had to play dirty, he would kill this fellow. River Luo sacred sect, he would still go there. You said that apart from Silver Dragon clan's Gong Huayu, no one else stood up to speak up for the pill union? Ning Cheng didn't expect Gong Huayu to be so loyal. He felt sure that Gong Huayu spoke up for the pill union because of him. After Gong Huayu spoke a few words, Silver Dragon clan's patriarch Gong Wu scolded him. He didn't dare to continue. As for the rest of the major sects, apart from a few who didn't come, none of them stood up to speak up for our pill union. I see. Ning Cheng nodded. Do you know where Mansuatian went after that? Ning Cheng guessed that He Jie didn't know about it, but he couldn't help but ask. He Jie hesitated before saying, Mansuatian wasn't on the void airship that left Heaven Essence Sacred City for the Great Change Realm. Chapter 1120. Do you know if Sword Pill Sage and the others are still in Heaven Essence Sacred City? Ning Cheng guessed that a powerhouse like Mansuatian wouldn't notice Sword Trishan, Xian Xiao, and Wu Qihong. But even if Mansuatian didn't care about it, it was hard to say for the others in the barbarian dragon clan. He Jie nodded. I know. The day the pill union was destroyed, Sword Pill Sage left. The next day, the city master's mansion took away your pill house in Heaven Essence Sacred City. Ning Cheng felt relieved. Sword Trishan was an old fox with a shrewd mind. As soon as the pill union was destroyed, he knew that something bad had happened. Since Sword Trishan left, it meant that Xian Xiao and Wu Qihong would follow him. Therefore, he didn't have to worry about it. Thinking of this, Ning Cheng took out his communication pearl and sent a message to Sword Trishan. But to his surprise, he didn't receive a reply from Sword Trishan even after a long time. Ning Cheng didn't worry about it. The communication pearl was just a message left behind by his consciousness. Once it was too far away, it would be difficult to sense this kind of communication. He Jie, thank you. I'm going to leave now. Let's meet again in the future. If you need my help, remember to send me a message. After saying that, Ning Cheng took out his communication pearl and exchanged communication information with He Jie. He Jie nodded. Pill Sage Ning, you have to be careful. Heaven Essence Sacred City has now become a private place where the strong prey on the weak. Even if someone kills people in the sacred city, no one will stop them. After I leave this time, I don't plan to come back. After watching He Jie leave, Ning Cheng sent a message to Cheng Hotian and Ba Meng. If he didn't kill Mansuatian, he would never give up. Ning Cheng also knew that even if his attainments in the Tao of Arrays surpassed that of Spirit Array Masters, he couldn't kill Mansuatian alone. He needed help. Cheng Hotian was the deputy head of the pill union. Since he left because of the poisoning incident, he would definitely know about the destruction of the pill union. If he could find Cheng Hotian, he could slowly contact the other escaped experts of the pill union. The Pill Union had stood tall in the Grand Essence realm for countless years. Even if Man Suatian destroyed the Pill Union's headquarters, he couldn't destroy the Pill Union's roots. With him and Chung Hotian taking the lead, as long as they gathered the other members of the Elixir Association, it wouldn't be Man Suatian who would catch the Elixir Association off guard. Instead, it would be them who would catch the Barbarian Dragon tribe off guard. As for Ba Meng, he was his friend and a primordial Dao expert. If he received the news, he would naturally come over to help. After Ning Cheng sent the message, he immediately headed towards the Grand Essence Sea. In order to kill Man Suatian, apart from using his formation Dao and inviting the experts of the Elixir Association, he also needed to advance to the primordial Dao. To advance to the Dao Essence realm in a short time, Ningqing couldn't think of a better place than the mysterious fairy ancient clan. Although the dragon cleansing pond was good, it didn't have an annual ring tree. Furthermore, he was on good terms with Li Feng of the mysterious fairy clan, who was infinitely close to the Dao integration stage. If possible, he would naturally invite him to help out. He wanted to let Man Suatian know that the Elixir Association would not be fine after killing Xichen and Qiu Tian, and destroying the headquarters of the Elixir Association. If he killed Xichen Qiu Tian, then even if he Man Huishan reached Dao perfection, he would still have to pay the price. Even if he ate it, he would spit it out. To Ning Cheng's surprise, he received a reply from Chung Hotian before he even reached the edge of the Grand Essence Sea. However, Ba Meng didn't reply. In his reply, Chung Hotian asked where Ning Cheng was, and said that he would rush over immediately. 2 days later, Ning Cheng saw Chung Hotian at the edge of the Grand Essence Sea. To Ning Cheng's surprise, he saw an acquaintance standing next to Chung Hotian. Protector Ju, a late-stage primordial chaos holy emperor. Apart from Protector Ju, there was another tall man whose cultivation was no weaker than Protector Ju's. Ning Cheng, I knew you would be fine. Chung Hotian's surprise came from the bottom of his heart. Seeing Ning Cheng, he couldn't hide the joy he felt. Even Protector Ju, who didn't like to talk, smiled and nodded when he saw Ning Cheng. Who is this? Ning Cheng looked at the other powerhouse standing beside Protector Ju in confusion and asked. Before Chung Hotian could speak, the tall man stepped forward and said, I'm also a protector of the Elixir Association, Jiu Xine. When Man Suatian destroyed the Elixir Association and killed the Association Master, Zhu Fenghen and I weren't in the Elixir Association. If I met that bastard, I would have swallowed his flesh and blood. Ningqing only now realized that Protector Ju's name was Zhu Fenghen. Chung Hotian quickly said, After I learned that Man Suatian destroyed the Elixir Association and killed the Association Master, I rushed back. By then, Man Suatian had already left. I met Zhu Fenghen and Jiu Xian, who were rushing back. I stopped them from looking for Man Suatian. Man Suatian has already reached Dao perfection. Even if the three of us went, it would be useless. Over the past 2 years, I've been contacting the rest of the Elixir Association. One day, I will avenge Association Master Xichen. Ningqing nodded. He had made friends with Chung Hotian. He wouldn't give up on avenging Xichen's Qiu Tian, just because of a small matter. 2 protectors, Brother Hotian. We have to take revenge. I also plan to contact the people from the Elixir Association to destroy the Barbarian Dragon clan. We can't do it by force. We have to discuss it first. Ningqing spoke his thoughts. Destroy the Barbarian Dragon clan? That's one of the top 10 sections. It would cause others to talk about it. Chung Hotian and the others felt shocked when they heard Ningqing's words. They just wanted to find Man Suatian for revenge. As for destroying the Barbarian Dragon clan, they really didn't think about it. Although Man Suatian died, the Barbarian Dragon clan didn't have much strength left. But they couldn't blatantly destroy it. The Barbarian Dragon clan was one of the top 10 sects in the Grand Essence realm. If they destroyed it, it would cause a lot of turmoil. Ningqing understood the intentions of these people at a glance. He spoke up in a cold voice. When the Barbarian Dragon clan destroyed the Elixir Association, the top 10 sects didn't stand up to speak. The status of the Elixir Association in the Grand Essence realm is no less than that of the top 10 sections. Since Man Suatian can do something like this, we can do the same. Chung Hotian spoke up with a solemn voice. That's not the same thing. The reason why Man Suatian dared to destroy the Elixir Association was because Sichin didn't want to take out the quota for Association Master Sichin, which caused dissatisfaction among the other sections. You can say that they have a common interest. Now that we've destroyed the Barbarian Dragon Clan, we don't have a common interest with the other sections. Ningqing knew that Chung Hotian was thinking about him. Once he destroyed the Barbarian Dragon Clan, it would cause a lot of trouble. But Ningqing's killing intent had already risen. No matter how Chung Hotian tried to persuade him, he wouldn't move. Brother Hotian, 2 protectors, I must destroy the Barbarian Dragon Clan. It's a vile race. Ningqing spoke up firmly. If it weren't for his friendship with Chung Hotian, he would have said that if they didn't go, he would go alone. From the beginning to the end, he had never seen a good thing in the Barbarian Dragon Clan. I agree with Pil Sage Ning's opinion. Protector Ju and Ningqing had known each other for a long time and admired Ningqing. He had seen Ningqing get into the top 3 of the 5 Realms Pill competition with his own eyes. What's more, the Barbarian Dragon Clan had destroyed the Elixir Association. Therefore, he had long wanted to kill them. Chung Hotian took in a deep breath and nodded. Since you've made up your mind, I will definitely support you. But you have to promise me one condition. When Ningqing heard Chung Hotian agree, he felt much more confident. If he wanted to destroy Man Suatian, he would need the help of the rest of the Elixir Association. Brother Hotian, speak. As long as I, Ningqing, can do it, I will definitely agree. The Elixir Association won't disappear. Since Association Master Sichin has fallen, I hope you can take over as the Elixir Association's Association Master. Before Chung Hotian finished speaking, Ningqing wanted to refuse. But Chung Hotian reached out and stopped Ningqing from refusing. Brother Ning, you're in the top 3 of the 5 Realms Pill competition, a close friend of Association Master Sichin, and the only primordial Dao Pill Sage in the Grand Essence Realm. Now that the Elixir Association has fallen to you, no one is more suitable than you to be the Association Master. The 2 protectors also nodded. Before Ningqing appeared, Chung Hotian was naturally the best choice for the Association Master. But now that Ningqing returned, Ningqing naturally became the first choice. Ningqing didn't refuse this time. He suddenly thought that if he wanted to avenge Sichin and Qiutian, he had to become the Association Master. Only by becoming the Association Master would the Elixir Association have cohesion. Only then would he be able to gather the scattered members. My Grand Essence Realm's laws are already broken, and after the Elixir Association incident, our vitality has been greatly damaged. The Heaven Essence Sacred City has been occupied by some demons and monsters, creating a foul atmosphere. Thinking back to when the Elixir Association was still around, the Heaven Essence Sacred City didn't end up like this. The more Chung Hotian spoke, the angrier he became. Ningqing remained silent. He thought back to the time he returned to the Grand Essence Realm, and the Grand Essence Realm's boundary protection Grand Array. But the Grand Change Realm not only had 5 Dao Courts but also a Realm Lord. Brother Hotian, can the Grand Essence Realm's laws be repaired? Ningqing suddenly asked. He wondered if he could repair the Grand Essence Realm, and then join forces with the Grand Essence Realm's powerhouses to arrange a boundary protection Grand Array. Could he gain a foothold in the Grand Essence Realm? Although Jiangzhou Star was a good place, the level of heaven and earth laws here was too low. He couldn't stay in Jiangzhou Star forever. If the Grand Essence Realm's laws were complete, the Grand Essence Realm would be the best choice. Moreover, if the Boundless Realm Palace found the Grand Essence Realm one day, and the Grand Essence Realm had a boundary protection Grand Array, Feng Xian wouldn't be able to come and go as he pleased. At least he could be prepared. Ningqing quickly shook his head. He was thinking too far into the future. Unless one day, his cultivation could sweep across the entire Grand Essence Realm. Only then would he have the opportunity to arrange the Grand Essence Realm's boundary protection Grand Array. Otherwise, it wouldn't be his turn to say such words. Chung Hotian and the other 2 looked at Ningqing in doubt. They seemed to be shocked by Ningqing's unconstrained thoughts. Ningqing also knew that even if he could repair the Grand Essence Realm, it wasn't something he could do right now. Therefore, he took the initiative to speak up. Let's talk about this later. Brother Hotian, I agree to temporarily become the Pill Association's leader. But I want to deal with this matter according to my own methods. Chung Hotian, on hearing Ning Cheng's agreement, immediately spoke up with joy. Of course, since you're the leader, everything will go according to what you say. Okay, I'd like to ask Brother Hotian and the two protectors to continue gathering the Pill Association's people. I also want to find some external help, but the time for revenge will need to be pushed back a few years. Ning Cheng said. Man Suatian used his body to achieve Dao integration. He can't leave the Grand Essence realm for now. Even if he wanted to go to the Grand Change realm, it wouldn't be possible in a short time. After a few years, he would definitely still be in the Barbarian Dragon Clan. I've already contacted Bait Saixia. She also wants to swallow Man Suatian immediately. Chung Hotian didn't have any doubts about Ning Cheng's proposal. Ning Cheng felt overjoyed. He hadn't met Bait Saixia before, but he knew that she was a Dao Transformation Pill Sage, and a Dao Transformation Pill Sage. Chapter 11:21. Chung Hotian and the others left with the task Ning Cheng had given them. Before leaving, he left Ning Cheng with a ring, 10 high-grade God spiritual veins, and 1 non-elemental supreme-grade God spiritual vein. He had given it to Ning Cheng after knowing that he wanted to take the opportunity to break through to the Dao Essence realm. As for medicinal pills, Ning Cheng definitely had better ones than him. Ancient Surf Mystery Clan. The white-haired and bony Li Feng was sitting on a praying mat. Half of his exposed chest seemed to be swaying in the wind. Sitting below him were 3 people, one of whom was Jean Malong, the one who had taken Ning Cheng to the Tree Ring Cultivation Hall. Other than Jean Malong, there was a man and a woman. The man also had a golden fringe on his forehead. Patriarch, Ning Cheng is here. I estimate that he will arrive in half an incense stick's worth of time. Do you want to see him? The one who spoke was Jean Malong. If nothing had happened to the Pill Association, he would not have said such a thing. Li Feng opened her eyes and said, since I'm the one who gave him the jade medallion, he's our honored guest. Of course we welcome him. A middle-aged man sitting next to Jean Malong said, Patriarch, Man Suatian is a Dao integration expert. He will find out sooner or later that Ning Cheng came to our mysterious crossing clan. Li Feng waved her hand. If you know, then so be it. My mysterious crossing clan is afraid of the future, and has been making no progress over the years. It's true that Man Suatian is a Dao integration expert, but the mysterious crossing ancient clan isn't necessarily afraid of him. Ning Cheng is a primordial Dao alchemy saint. Since I gave him the jade card, it means that I think highly of him. I'm guessing that he came to the mysterious fairy clan to ask for our help. Patriarch, are we going to help him deal with Barbarian Dragon Clan's man Huishan? The woman suddenly asked. Li Feng shook her head. Although I think highly of him and am not afraid of Man Suatian, I will not offend Man Suatian for such a small matter. Now that he's here, I have something to say. Unless he lost his mind, he wouldn't offend Man Huishan for no reason for Ning Cheng, a Dao Essence Pill Saint. Wouldn't that be courting death? Patriarch, why are you so sure that Ning Cheng wants our mysterious crossing ancient clan to take action? I feel like he's here to ask for the life ring to cultivate, said Jean Malong. Li Heng showed a slight smile. Ning Cheng is also a genius. The last time he came, he was only at the Dao sculpting realm. After cultivating in the tree ring for a few months, he actually advanced to the Dao birth. However, no matter how talented he was, it was impossible for him to advance to the Dao transformation in a short time with the help of the annual ring. Therefore, he probably wasn't here to use the annual rings to cultivate, but to ask for help. He's already here. Mo Long, you're familiar with him. Go receive him. Even if I don't do anything, I have to show my respect to him. Yes. Jean Malong quickly stood up and walked out of the room. He also felt that he was thinking too much. Ning Cheng had just advanced to the Dao birth not long ago. How could he use the annual ring to break through to the Dao transformation so soon? Ning Cheng stood alone on a barren part of the Grand Essence Sea. The last time he came here, it was Si Chen's Qiu Tian who brought him here. In order to help him, Situ Chen's Qiu Tian had used up his only chance to get the mysterious fairy clan to act. What Situ Chen Tian had said at the time still rang in Ning Cheng's ears, but Situ Chen Tian had already died. Back then, he had promised that if Situ Chen Tian needed his help, he would never refuse it. However, he hadn't helped Situ Chen Tian much. He had only helped Situ Chen Tian improve his Dao heart. Now that Situ Chen Tian had been killed by Mansuatian, he wouldn't be able to forgive himself if he couldn't avenge Situ Chen Tian. Ning Qing took out the jade card and activated it. A blue light swept him away. Pill Sage Ning, you're a rare guest. Ning Qing had just set foot on the ground when a happy voice came over. Ning Qing knew the person who had come. It was Jin Malong. When he and Situ Chen Tian had come here, they hadn't received Jin Malong, but an ordinary disciple. Brother Jin, Ning Qing had nowhere to go, so I came here to avoid trouble. Ning Qing felt sure that Jin Malong knew about the destruction of the Pill Association, so he spoke in a humble manner. What are you talking about? For Pill Sage Ning to come to the mysterious crossing ancient clan. Jin Malong's words suddenly stopped as he looked at Ning Qing in disbelief. Pill Sage Ning, you've already reached Dao transformation? He couldn't help but feel shocked. Just as the patriarch had said, Ning Qing had only reached Dao sculpting the first time he came here. Later, Ning Qing had advanced to Dao birth with the help of the life ring. Therefore, even the patriarch didn't think that Ning Qing had come here to cultivate with the help of the life ring. He also felt that the patriarch was right. But what was going on? How did Ning Qing reach Dao transformation? Ning Qing smiled. It was just a fluke. I came here to cultivate with the help of the life ring for a while. I don't know if it's presumptuous of me. Everyone thought that Ning Qing hadn't come here to cultivate with the help of the life ring. They never expected that Ning Qing would really use the life ring for cultivation. Of course not. Pill Sage Ning, please. Just as Jin Malong finished speaking, he heard Li Feng's voice. Haha, Pill Sage Ning is truly a distinguished guest. Please come in. Li Feng actually came out with a smile. Even if his eyes were filled with enthusiasm, he couldn't hide the shock in his heart. After proving one's Dao, every advancement was extremely difficult. It wasn't as simple as just accumulating resources. Greetings, Patriarch. Ning Qing quickly stepped forward and greeted. Before Ning Qing could continue, Li Feng took Ning Cheng's hand and said, Come Pill Sage Ning, let me introduce you to the two of them. After saying that, Li Feng pointed to the middle-aged man and said, This is my mysterious crossing ancient clan's Xiao Mozi. Next to Mozi is Huabing. Ning Qing also hurriedly stepped forward and greeted. Ning Qing greets brother Xiao and sister Hua. He was secretly shocked by the strength of the mysterious crossing ancient clan. Although Huabing hadn't reached primordial chaos, she was definitely at the perfected primordial Dao, or even a half-step primordial chaos existence. Her cultivation level was slightly higher than Jin Malong's. Xiao Mozi was definitely a primordial chaos expert, and a late-stage primordial chaos one at that. Ning Qing hadn't seen him the last time. The two of them didn't dare to be arrogant and hurriedly stepped forward to return the greeting. Ning Cheng's cultivation level hadn't reached the second step, but he was a primordial Dao alchemy saint. His title as a primordial Dao alchemy saint wasn't any weaker than a primordial chaos sacred emperor. Pill Sage Ning is truly a genius. You succeeded in Dao transformation in such a short time. Li Feng brought Ning Qing inside and sighed. Ning Qing smiled slightly and didn't pretend to be modest. The mysterious crossing ancient clans Li Feng wanted to associate with him mainly because he was a primordial Dao alchemy saint and had the potential to develop. If he didn't even have this, he wouldn't be qualified to associate with the mysterious crossing ancient clan. After everyone sat down in the guest hall again, Ning Qing took out a jade bottle and handed it to Li Feng. This is a bottle of Heaven Essence heavenly pills that I occasionally refined. It's just a small token of my appreciation. I hope that Clan Headley doesn't mind. Li Feng suddenly stood up and quickly grabbed the jade bottle to open it. He quickly confirmed that it was a bottle of Heaven Essence heavenly pills, and it was a high-grade bottle of Heaven Essence heavenly pills. Many thanks, Pill Sage Ning. This is a medicinal pill that my mysterious crossing ancient clan desperately needs. It's not a small token of my appreciation, but a great help to my mysterious crossing ancient clan. Even with Li Feng's experience, he couldn't help but feel happy. A bottle of Heaven Essence Heavenly Pills was a top-notch item in the entire Great Essence realm. Heaven Essence Heavenly Pills were a Dao pill used to comprehend primordial Dao sacred emperors. The mysterious crossing ancient clan had growth rings. Coupled with this bottle of Heaven Essence Heavenly Pills, they might have 2 more primordial Dao experts. Despite this, Li Feng still didn't ask what Ningqing needed help with. Ningqing, just say it. Although he wanted to say it, he knew that he couldn't say it now, because Ningqing's opponent was Man Suotian, who was too powerful. Ningqing naturally wouldn't ask for Li Feng's help now. Even if he wanted Li Feng's help, he would wait until he left this place. Clan head, because my cultivation is too low, I want to use the growth rings to cultivate for a few years. Ningqing spoke with sincerity. Not only did he not mention Li Feng's help, but he also didn't ask for the tree branch of the growth rings. Li Feng might refuse both of these things. If he mentioned it now, it wouldn't be beneficial to his cultivation. Of course, Pill Sage Ning can use the growth rings to cultivate at any time. Li Feng said without hesitation. Ningqing stood up and cupped his fists. Many thanks, clan head. I want to go cultivate now. When Ningqing saw the growth rings for the second time, his heart suddenly shook. The first time he came here, he saw that the growth ring was a transparent tree. He could even see the growth rings on the outside of the tree, which were traces of the flow of time. But this time, when Ningqing looked at the growth rings again, he saw a touch of cyan within the transparency. Cultivation and Heart Dao realms were different, but the growth rings were different. Ningqing suddenly remembered a line from a poem. Looking at the growth rings from the side, looking at the growth rings from the side. Maybe when he advanced to the next level, he would see a completely different scene when he looked at the growth rings. Ningqing walked into the growth rings, and a strong life force once again swept over him. But unlike the last time, this life force had a trace of spirituality. The vast vicissitudes of time aura surged within the life force and impacted his body along with the Dao charm within the growth rings. Ningqing took in a deep breath and crossed 10 growth rings in a row, before entering the 11th circle. The last time he cultivated in the 11th circle, he finally succeeded in Dao birth. The first time he entered the 11th circle, Ningqing felt the strong impact of the Dao charm of time. He could walk to the 11th circle entirely because of the adaptability of the mysterious yellow formless, which allowed him to crazily absorb the Dao charm of heaven and earth from the growth rings for cultivation. This time, when Ningqing came to the 11th circle of the growth rings, he could only feel the faint flow of time aura. He didn't feel any impact at all. Or rather, the violent impact of the Dao charm of time didn't affect him at all. Ningqing stepped into the 12th circle, 13th circle. As the Dao charm of time flowed around Ningqing, Ningqing had already closed his eyes. He didn't even know how many circles he had crossed. He only knew that when the Dao charm of time was insufficient, he would take another circle. He didn't know how long he had walked, but the feeling of the passage of time washed over his soul, making Ningqing open his eyes and stop. It was as if he had adjusted the frequency, and Ningqing's entire soul resonated with this place. There was no need to continue. This was the place. Maybe this wasn't the deepest place he could reach, but Ningqing felt that this was the best place for cultivation. Ningqing sat down, but before he could throw out the spirit veins, he felt a message. The 49th circle mark of the growth ring. Chapter 1122. The first time Ningqing entered the annual ring cultivation ring, he had already gained some experience. The deeper one went, the better it would be for cultivation. The deeper he went into the growth rings, the longer the time would be. However, the flow of the Dao rhyme of time might not be suitable for him. The 49th annual ring meant that he had cultivated here for 49 years, but only a year had passed in the outside world. With the progress of his cultivation of the mysterious yellow formless, coupled with the help of the mysterious yellow origin, he believed that he could also reach the primordial Dao realm in about 200 years. Ningqing threw out one god spiritual vein after another, but he didn't take out the top-grade god spiritual vein. The spiritual aura within the growth ring was already very rich, but Ningqing still felt that it was not enough. He was well aware of the resources he needed for his cultivation. The Tao charm of the passage of time within the growth ring, the mysterious yellow bead's origin aura, and the spiritual qi gathered by the spiritual gathering array quickly fused together, forming traces of Tao charm invisible to the naked eye. These traces of Tao charm continued to form and revolved around Ningcheng. As time passed by, Ningcheng's body gradually blurred. A faint golden cocoon slowly wrapped around him, before finally disappearing completely. However, the traces of Tao charm around Ningcheng's body grew thicker and thicker. From being invisible to the naked eye, it became clearer and clearer. In the end, it even turned into a clear sound that surged out. At first, these clear sounds were only within the range of the 49th chakra mark. Later on, they slowly rushed out of the 49th chakra mark and began to spread in all directions. The first thing that formed in Ningcheng's Tao sense was the Tao of returning to one. The great Tao is the same but has 100 worries, the same destination but different paths. The Tao charm aura wrapped around the spirit qi and blasted into Ningcheng's mind like a morning bell and evening drum. Ningcheng did not use any Tao pills or any techniques. Just by relying on the comprehension of this Tao rune, he broke through the early stage Tao transformation and advanced to the mid-stage Tao transformation. Ningcheng's entire body gave off a soft sound, as if he was undergoing body refining. This clear sound mixed with the clear sound of the Tao charm outside, and in the end, it became indistinguishable. After advancing to the middle stage Tao transformation realm, the Tao rune aura around Ningcheng's body circulated even faster, and the mysterious yellow aura also sped up. At the same time, the Tao runes around him were becoming more and more profound. They were on a completely different level from when he had first been at the early stage Tao transformation. Apart from the Tao transformation Tao runes, another kind of Tao rune also formed around Ningcheng. This Tao rune was completely different from the Tao runes that had advanced to the middle stage Tao transformation realm. It was a completely new kind of Tao rune. The new Tao rhyme aura fused with the time Tao rhyme in the annual ring and kept rolling, as though something was about to be born. Ningcheng was neither sad nor happy. The first time he had cultivated inside the growth ring, he felt as if he was trying to grasp something, but in the end he was not able to grasp it. This time, the object was even clearer, giving him a feeling that perhaps in the next moment, he would be able to grasp that blurry object. And that blurry thing was what he desperately needed. The Tao charm around Ningcheng's giant cocoon started to churn and roar from the churning to the roaring. The Tao charm within the 49 rings continued to flow, scouring the golden cocoon around Ningcheng's body. Inside the cocoon, Ningcheng, with his eyes closed, felt his consciousness becoming clearer and clearer. Ningcheng did not open his eyes, but instead waved his hand. Boom boom. A powerful Tao rhyme surged in. His divine essence expanded wildly, and his sea of consciousness expanded wildly. He was now at the late-stage Tao transformation realm. Even if his strength soared, Ningcheng was not affected at all. Gotcha! The moment Ningcheng advanced to the late-stage Tao transformation realm, the blurry object suddenly became clear. The golden cocoon, which didn't crack even after Ningcheng advanced to the late-stage Tao transformation realm, suddenly cracked open. Ningcheng's body trembled, and an incomparably clear understanding surged into his heart. It was a kind of understanding that he had tried to grasp last time, but failed to grasp in the end. When he advanced to the late-stage Tao transformation realm, he had an epiphany of a new time-law spirit technique. Even advancing to the late-stage Tao transformation realm didn't shake the golden cocoon. Now, a crack had appeared on the cocoon due to the epiphany of the flowing time spirit technique. Time had 3 steps. First, the setting sun was infinitely beautiful, but it was nearing dusk. Second, time was like an arrow, and the years were like a shuttle. Third, his consciousness became blurry, and the epiphany disappeared. He hadn't comprehended the third step of the flowing time spirit technique. Ningcheng didn't feel disappointed at all. He knew that it was because he hadn't reached the third step that his epiphany of the flowing time spirit technique stopped abruptly. One day, the third step would come naturally. At this moment, he realized that his spirit technique, Sunset's Twilight, and even the enhanced version of Sunset's Twilight, were just the first step of the 3 flowing time spirit techniques. The flowing time spirit technique and the Sea of Twilight were both spirit techniques derived from the time law. However, Ningcheng felt sure that the flowing time spirit technique was completely different from the Sea of Twilight. His flowing time law spirit technique didn't move towards the Sea of Twilight, but towards the 3 flowing time spirit techniques that he had comprehended. Ningcheng understood that it was because of the growth rings. Ningcheng, who was still inside the golden cocoon, raised his hand slightly. The powerful flowing time Dao charm aura caused the surrounding Dao charm to pause. Ningcheng suddenly gained some understanding of the perpetual moonsex entrapment array. The perpetual moonsex entrapment array was arranged using the time law, which far exceeded his understanding. Perhaps the most powerful aspect of the time law wasn't stopping or even reversing, but moving forward. Because of moving forward, space was formed. Unfortunately, whether it was like an arrow or a shuttle, it was still tangible. Maybe he had comprehended the flowing time spirit technique too early. If he reached the Dao essence realm, he might be able to comprehend the 3rd step. As the flowing time Dao charm flowed, it returned to its original appearance. Ningcheng's cocoon also regenerated. The most worthless thing in cultivation was time. When the Dao charm around Ningcheng's golden cocoon rumbled for the 3rd time, the cocoon had already grown more than 10 times bigger than before. Endless spiritual qi rushed towards Ningcheng before disappearing into the golden cocoon. The boundless Dao charm aura and life force also rushed towards Ningcheng's position before disappearing into the golden cocoon. The entire growth ring was in chaos, and the flowing time Dao charm filled the place. Some of the mysterious crossing ancient clan's disciples, who were cultivating outside the growth ring, rushed out and no longer dared to stay in the chaotic flowing time Dao charm to cultivate. What's going on? All the mysterious crossing ancient clan's disciples stared at the depths of the giant tree in surprise. Li Feng, who had already brought Xiao Mozi and the others over, also looked at the flowing time Dao charm and the depths of the growth ring in shock. Patriarch, this isn't Ning. Huabing asked in disbelief. Li Feng took in a deep breath. After a long time he nodded. It should be him. I don't know if it's a good or bad thing for Pill Sage Ning to enter the growth ring to cultivate. The commotion caused by his cultivation is too big. No wonder his cultivation speed is so fast. With this kind of absorption method, it would be strange if it wasn't fast. Jean Malong sighed from the side. Should we go and take a look? Huabing felt a little worried about the growth ring. Li Feng understood Huabing's meaning and waved his hand. There's no problem with the growth ring. After Ningcheng advances, the flow of time will return to its original state. I've heard of this kind of situation before. Don't worry about it. Ningcheng felt as if his entire body was about to explode. Endless Dao charm and spiritual qi surged towards him. Perhaps it wasn't for the golden cocoon that automatically formed around his body. Otherwise, he would have already exploded. The flowing time Dao charm rumbled. At this moment, apart from Ningcheng and his golden cocoon, anything around him would be crushed by this terrifying Dao charm. Even the golden cocoon seemed to be unable to withstand this violent aura, and began to tremble. Bang! The golden cocoon finally couldn't withstand this terrifying Dao charm and exploded. At this moment, the endless Dao charm aura directly crushed Ningcheng's body, turning all the clothes on Ningcheng's body into flying ashes. His skin was cut open, leaving streaks of blood, caca. As Ningcheng's bones and flesh collapsed, the mysterious yellow origin aura rushed over. Ningcheng still didn't open his eyes. Instead, he raised his hand and grabbed a few heavenly heaven pills and swallowed them. He didn't swallow the heavenly heaven pills to comprehend the primordial Dao realm. Instead, he wanted to use the power of the heavenly heaven pills to suppress the primordial Dao realm he comprehended. In history, Ningcheng might be the first holy emperor to use a Dao core to block the impact of the primordial Dao realm. Kaka. When Ningcheng was almost paralyzed, the heavenly heaven pills finally took effect. The powerful force began to push back the terrifying Dao charm. The heavenly heaven pills that Ningcheng swallowed contained the chaotic aura of the 5 elements, which made them completely different from ordinary heavenly heaven pills. Boom! The 2 Dao charm powers blasted together, causing Ningcheng's body to tremble. It was as if his mind, which had almost blocked his life force, had opened up a path to the heavens. The terrifying Dao charm power that came crashing down instantly rushed into the Grand Dao, no longer suppressing Ningcheng at all. In just a few breaths, Ningcheng felt the lack of God's spiritual qi and a sense of emptiness. At this moment, Ningcheng couldn't care about anything else. He threw out all the spirit crystals and God spiritual veins in his ring, including the top-grade God spiritual vein. As soon as these God spiritual veins came out, they turned into endless God spiritual qi and merged with the Dao charm aura before disappearing from Ningcheng's body. A powerful Dao charm aura emerged in Ningcheng's mind. The shattered golden cocoon also turned into countless Dao charm auras that poured into Ningcheng's Dao sense. A few days later, Ningcheng opened his eyes. His eyes looked calm and quiet, no longer showing off his sharpness. Instead, they carried an irresistible aura of vitality. It was as if everything between heaven and earth was in his eyes, without exception. His long hair fluttered because of the flow of Dao charm, but it had a kind of spirituality without any dust. The Dao charm was still rumbling, but the sound was getting softer and softer. The surrounding chaotic aura also gradually subsided. Ningcheng's crushed bones and paralyzed flesh had long since recovered. The surging vitality and Ningcheng's powerful Dao charm aura formed a new domain at this moment, the Dao essence domain. The surging Dao charm aura finally calmed down, and the 49th circle of the annual ring returned to its original state. Ningcheng's mind moved slightly, and a new set of Daoist robes fell on his body. This is Dao essence. Ningcheng stared at the flowing Dao charm of time. He no longer had the urge to improve his strength. The moment he advanced to Dao essence divine emperor, everything between heaven and earth seemed to become simple. Chapter 11:23. The tree ring returned to its original appearance, but Ningcheng didn't plan to continue cultivating. After advancing to the Dao essence realm, he had almost exhausted all of his cultivation resources. Therefore, there wasn't much point in continuing to cultivate. From Dao transformation realm to Dao essence realm, he estimated that it took him nearly 200 years. Calculating the time outside, it would be 4 to 5 hours. However, he didn't plan to go out right now. He wanted to see if he could find a tree branch with a tree ring. At the same time, he also wanted to see if he could reach the tree root with a tree ring in his Dao essence realm. The tree ring belonged to someone else. After going out, he would need the permission of that person to come back in. Ningcheng directly stepped into the 50th ring mark. Soon, he passed through the 50th ring mark and entered the 51st ring, 52nd ring. The time Dao charm aura grew stronger and stronger. The passage of time was like a bone-scraping knife. Every time Ningcheng took a step forward, the Dao charm around him would be scraped by the passage of time. As for the bloody scars on his body, it was all because of the pain caused by the scraping of the Dao charm. Even after advancing to the Dao essence realm, Ningcheng's Dao heart couldn't withstand the increasingly terrifying time Dao charm scars. At the 99th ring mark, Ningcheng finally stopped. It wasn't that he didn't want to go further and step into the 100th ring mark, but he really couldn't move even a little bit. The violent time Dao charm aura scraped against Ningcheng's body. Ningcheng had only experienced this kind of tearing pain when he experienced the mutation of his sea of consciousness. The tree root of the tree ring seemed to be far away. It seemed that he had to go through countless ring marks to reach it, but it also seemed that he only needed to cross one ring mark to reach it. Ningcheng endured the bone-scraping pain and didn't retreat. It wasn't that he wanted to be cheap, but he saw a little cyan sprout not far in front of him. It was a cyan sprout. This green sprout was growing between the 99th and 100th wheel mark of the annual ring, and it looked extremely delicate. The tree ring was transparent, and when Ningcheng entered the tree ring for the second time, he saw a touch of cyan. But now he saw a cyan sprout, which made him wonder if the cyan sprout he saw when he entered the tree ring was the same cyan sprout. Even if Ningcheng was stupid, he would be able to tell that this green sprout was definitely not something ordinary. He couldn't get a tree branch with growth rings, but he definitely didn't want to let go of this sprout. Although Ningcheng was too eager to obtain this green sprout, although this green sprout was only a few feet away from him. These dozens of feet were like a heavenly chasm that was difficult for him to cross. The bone-scraping time Dao rhyme was becoming more and more difficult for him to bear. Perhaps in the next second he would be directly swept away. But he was really unwilling. He saw something he wanted, but he couldn't take it away. How could he be willing? When he got out of here, he could ask Phoenix Li for a branch. In Ning Cheng's view, the possibility of Li Feng giving him the tree ring branch was not high. Before he started cultivating, he gave Li Feng a bottle of heavenly pill of Qian Yuan. In this kind of situation, Li Feng did not say that she could help him as much as she wanted. How could he be sure that Li Feng would give him a twig with annual rings? Ka-cha, the bone-scraping blade marks of time finally cut through Ning Cheng's Dao charm and penetrated through his skin and flesh, breaking one of his bones. Ning Cheng took in a deep breath and crazily circulated his spirit essence. He then started to burn his Dao charm. The moment the Dao charm started to burn, Ning Cheng brought out the void cold light spear. The void cold light spear slowly stabbed out. A spear pattern appeared in the middle of the annual rings. This spear seemed to have pierced through the Dao charm of time, and was as fast as an arrow. Time flew like an arrow, and the years flew like a shuttle. Ning Cheng finally materialized the time Dao charm, and used the time spirit technique to blast open the horrifying flow of the Dao charm of time. The void cold light spear's spearhead emitted an aura of burning time, and the time Dao marks in front of Ning Cheng finally weakened. Ning Cheng took a step forward and raised his hand to pick up the cyan sapling. An extreme sense of weakness washed over him, causing Ning Cheng to feel his cultivation rapidly retreating at this moment. He could no longer hold on for half a breath, and started to retreat. Bang! The time Dao charm pushed Ning Cheng from the edge of the intersection between the 99th and 100th rings to the 49th layer. The road that he had walked for half a month seemed to have been sent back to him in just a breath. Ning Cheng slumped to the ground and didn't have the time to look at the void cold light spear. Instead, he focused on the cyan sapling in his hand. Vitality, time, new life, vastness. The little cyan sapling gave off an endless aura of Dao charm. The more Ning Cheng looked at it, the more he liked it. He felt sure that this little bean sprout wasn't simple. His efforts were definitely worth it. He had picked up a treasure. Carefully placing the cyan-colored seedling into the mysterious yellow bead, he then instructed Chasing Bull to take good care of it. Only then did Ning Cheng start to restore his vitality. For this cyan sapling, he had burned his Dao charm. If not for his mysterious yellow formless being too powerful and his spirit essence reaching a terrifying level after advancing to the Dao essence realm, he wouldn't have dared to burn his Dao charm. If he dared to burn his Dao charm in the time scrape, his strength would have fallen from the Dao essence of the second step of Dao confirming to the Dao transformation realm. After staying in the 49th ring for another year, Ning Cheng stood up and prepared to go out. A year's time was only a few days outside. Ning Cheng knew that even if he stayed here for another year, he wouldn't be able to fully recover. The after effects of burning his Dao charm were too great. Fortunately, he had a better place, the Dragon Cleansing Pool. After leaving the mysterious fairy ancient clan, the first place he wanted to go was the Dragon Cleansing Pool. Pill Sage Ning, congratulations on reaching the Dao Essence realm. Ning Cheng had just walked out when Li Feng's warm congratulatory voice came over. Behind Li Feng there were no longer just 3 people, but 6 or 7 people. Jin Malong, Hu Bing, and Xiao Mozi also followed. Li Feng's words were warm, but his heart was in turmoil. He didn't think that Ning Cheng would successfully advance to the Dao Essence Holy Emperor realm. Moreover, it only took him a little more than 4 years, less than 5 years. Even if Ning Cheng reached the 20th ring, for years outside was only less than 100 years. Even if Ning Cheng reached the 20th ring, he had never seen such a genius cultivation speed. Of course, he didn't know that Ning Cheng cultivated in the 49th ring. He also didn't know that Ning Cheng had gone to the 99th ring. If he knew, he wouldn't have been able to go there himself. However, he knew that Ning Cheng had taken away the inheritance tree sapling from the ring. The inheritance tree sapling had appeared when Ning Cheng cultivated last time, but he didn't have the opportunity to see it. This time, he took away Ning Cheng because the ring wanted to pass it on. Even if the ring wanted to pass it on, he had to take back the inheritance tree sapling. It would be best if he didn't offend Ning Cheng. The only thing that puzzled him or made him feel normal was that Ning Cheng's Dao runes were slightly weak and messy. His face was also a little pale, and his aura didn't feel like that of a real Dao essence cultivator. He didn't understand because Ning Cheng had reached the Tao Essence realm. Even if he hadn't stabilized his cultivation, he shouldn't be like this. He felt that it was normal because he guessed that Ning Cheng had forcibly reached the Tao Essence realm, which resulted in an unstable foundation. In this case, it was hard to say whether Ning Cheng's choice was right or wrong. This kind of unstable foundation didn't mean that the foundation had been destroyed. It could be restored with a lot of time. Not only Li Feng, but the rest of the mysterious fairy ancient clan were also shocked by Ning Cheng's cultivation speed. He had advanced to the Tao Essence realm after entering the ring. Fortunately, the ring wasn't Ning Cheng's. If it were Ning Cheng's, wouldn't his cultivation realm be much higher? In fact, even if the ring belonged to Ning Cheng, his cultivation realm wouldn't have progressed that fast. The main Tao rune in the ring was the Time Tao rune. After Ning Cheng advanced to the Tao Essence realm, he could only comprehend spirit techniques in the ring. It wasn't realistic to use the ring to advance to the Primordial Chaos realm. The difference between Primordial Chaos and Tao Essence was that Primordial Chaos had its first blight. A true Primordial Chaos expert had to experience the first Deva's blight. The Time Tao rune law of the ring was too powerful, and restricted the other law Tao runes between heaven and earth. The Primordial Chaos realm was a comprehensive integration of heaven and earth's Tao law. Ning Cheng quickly said politely, "I can reach the Tao Essence realm in such a short time thanks to Clan Headley for letting me cultivate in the ring." Li Feng politely said, "Since alchemy sage Ning reached the Tao Essence realm, my mysterious fairy ancient clan has prepared some wine to celebrate with alchemy sage Ning. I wonder what alchemy sage Ning thinks." After Ning Cheng reached the Tao Essence realm, he had a lot of things to discuss with Li Feng. Therefore, he naturally wouldn't refuse Li Feng's invitation. This time, Li Feng only brought Jin Malong, Hu Bing, and Xiao Mozi to invite Ning Cheng. The others didn't come with him. The wine brewed by the mysterious fairy ancient clan wasn't as good as the None to Depend on wine, but it had a mellow characteristic. The mysterious fairy ancient clan wanted to befriend Ning Cheng, and Ning Cheng also wanted to win over the mysterious fairy ancient clan. The atmosphere between the two sides was harmonious, and the more they talked, the more congenial they became. Li Feng had already made up his mind that if Ning Cheng asked him to help deal with Man Huishan, he would send a primordial chaos expert. Not in the name of the mysterious fairy ancient clan, but in the name of Ning Cheng's friend. Of course, this person couldn't be from the mysterious fairy ancient clan. But even after chatting for a few hours, Ning Cheng didn't mention anything about helping. Since Ning Cheng didn't mention it, Li Feng naturally wouldn't talk about it. Even if Ning Cheng didn't mention it for a few days and nights, he wouldn't take the initiative to mention it. He was thinking about how to bring up the topic of the ring inheritance. At this moment, Ning Cheng suddenly brought up the Grand Essence Realm's heaven and earth laws. If the Grand Essence Realm's heaven and earth laws hadn't shattered, I believe no one would want to go to the Grand Change Realm. Jin Malong agreed. That's right. The Grand Essence Realm and the Grand Change Realm are on the same level. The reason why the Grand Change Realm is so attractive is because the Grand Change Realm's heaven and earth laws are complete. Ning Cheng echoed and then asked, "Clan Headley, do you think the Grand Essence Realm's broken laws can be repaired?" Li Feng didn't think too much about it and just shook his head. Repairing the Grand Essence Realm's boundary would be difficult. Ning Cheng felt happy when he heard this. Li Feng only said that it would be difficult, but he didn't say that it couldn't be repaired. Therefore, he quickly asked why. Li Feng said with a straight face, "To repair a top-grade boundary like the Grand Essence Realm, you would need the Primal Chaos First Tree. Moreover, the Grand Essence Realm's earth veins are severely damaged. Maybe you would even need the World Mountain. Doesn't that mean that if we can find the Primal Chaos First Tree and the World Mountain, we can repair the Grand Essence Realm?" Ning Cheng asked, but his heart had already turned cold. It was called the Primal Chaos First Tree. It would be strange if he could find it. Chapter 1124. Li Feng smiled. That's not realistic. Let's not talk about the fact that no one will find the Chaos Tree and the World Mountain at the same time. Even if someone found it, would he be willing to use it to repair an interface? He had to admit that Li Feng was right. Even if someone had these two things, Would they be willing to use them to repair the Grand Essence Realm? If he had the Chaos Tree and World Mountain, maybe he would be willing to use them to repair the Grand Essence Realm. He was willing because he had the mysterious yellow bead, and wanted to make the Grand Essence Realm his base. After experiencing the events in the Grand Change Realm and the Boundless Realm Palace, Ningqing understood the importance of having his own lair. But others obviously didn't think so. These things are not for us to consider. I wonder if Pill Sage Ning has any plans? Li Feng took the initiative to ask on seeing Ningqing's silence. Apart from the Chaos Tree and the World Mountain, are there no other treasures that can repair a world? Ningqing didn't answer but asked another question. Although Li Feng was a little confused, she still replied, "No. For example, there are other ways to repair the Grand Essence Realm. But these methods are much more difficult than using the Chaos Tree and World Mountain. Elder Li Feng, please give me some pointers." Ningqing stood up and bowed, before sitting down. At this time, Li Feng understood that Ningqing really wanted to know how to repair the Grand Essence Realm, and not just casually asking about it. "Do you want to repair the Grand Essence Realm?" Li Feng guessed that Ningqing wanted to repair the Grand Essence Realm, but he still asked. Ningqing spoke in a very serious manner. "If it is possible, then I really do have such an idea. Of course, my cultivation is still low right now, but one day, I will be able to reach that level." Li Feng did not doubt that Ningqing was just bragging about his cultivation, as he had personally witnessed Ningqing's cultivation speed. Maybe one day, Ningqing would really be able to do it. Ningqing's cultivation speed was so fast. In addition to his genius qualifications, there must be some other unknown secrets to him. Thinking of this, Li Feng also replied with a serious tone. "In fact, repairing a top-grade interface like the Grand Essence Realm requires a lot of heaven-defying things. Among the 5 great realms, the Grand Essence Realm wasn't as damaged as the Grand Beginning Realm. It was said that the meridians of the Great Beginning Realm had been completely destroyed, and the interface had even been broken into a few pieces. The Grand Essence Realm only had its laws of heaven and earth broken, the Tao of Samsara. The Grand Essence Realm's reincarnation Tao was broken?" Ningqing asked in surprise. Li Feng nodded. "Yes, except for the Great Change Realm, the other 4 great realms have different degrees of destruction, and the difficulty of repairing them is also different. There was another way to repair the Grand Essence Realm, and that was to use the Primal Chaos 5 soils plus the 5-element Spirit Water. In addition, you also need the 7 Bridges Realm Book." 7 Bridges Realm Book? Can this repair the Grand Essence Realm? Ningqing asked in surprise. The 7 Bridges Realm Book was on him. Ningqing had obtained this book from the Formless sect, and had hidden it in a stone stele. Ningqing had always thought that it was just a spirit technique, but he never expected that it could also repair the Grand Essence Realm. Li Feng shook her head. The 7 Bridges Realm Book doesn't repair the Grand Essence Realm, but the Grand Essence Realm's Samsara Tao. Not only is the Grand Essence Realm's heaven and earth laws broken, but the Samsara Tao is also broken. Ningqing suddenly remembered that he had been to the Grand Essence Netherworld, and immediately spoke up. "I've been to the Grand Essence Netherworld. There are indeed endless souls fighting there, unable to reincarnate. But I saw a soul crossing bridge there. As long as you cross the soul crossing bridge, you will have a chance to enter the Samsara passage." Li Feng sighed. "You also know that you have to cross the soul crossing bridge to have a chance to enter the Samsara passage. In fact, when the Grand Essence Realm was complete, the Grand Essence Netherworld had 7 bridges, but there was no soul crossing bridge. Someone else built the soul crossing bridge in the Grand Essence Netherworld later?" Ningqing finally understood. Since the soul crossing bridge wasn't something that originally belonged to the Grand Essence Netherworld, it meant that someone controlled the Grand Essence Netherworld. Most likely, the soul crossing bridge was for some ulterior purpose. Seeing Ningqing understand, Li Feng didn't explain further and continued. "Not to mention the Primal Chaos 5 soils, even the 5-element Spirit Water wouldn't be as difficult to obtain as the Chaos Tree. The 5-element Spirit Water is the Primal Chaos divine water formed when the Good Fortune world opened. How could ordinary people obtain it?" Ningqing sucked in a breath of cold air. Repairing the Grand Essence Realm was already terrifying. Moreover, the 5-element spirit water was something he urgently needed. It was a treasure he wanted to refine the good fortune divine spear. Even if he had it, could he take it out to repair the Grand Essence realm? It's good that Pill Sage Ning has the heart, but it's too difficult, too difficult. Li Feng sighed when she saw Ning Qing finally fall silent. Those selfish people snatched things for themselves and didn't care about their descendants. If I have the ability in the future, I will definitely pull out those fellows who broke the 5 grand realms and give them a good beating. Jean Malong spoke with hatred. Li Feng scolded. Malong, don't talk nonsense. It's not our turn to intervene in seniors' matters. Clan Headley, does the primal chaos 5 soils include the breath soil? Ningqing finally didn't continue to remain silent. Li Feng replied. Yes, the breath soil ranks first. The other 4 soils are the steadying soil, gung soil, releasing soil, and balance soil. Although the other 4 soils are extremely rare, they can still be seen occasionally. Only the breath soil's name is heard of. At the beginning of the world, all kinds of soil came into contact with the laws of heaven and earth, fused with the aura of the 5 elements, and turned ordinary. Only the breath soil, steadying soil, gung soil, releasing soil, and balance soil can protect themselves, hide their aura, and preserve a breath of primal chaos essence qi. Once these 5 soils merge together, they will also turn ordinary and merge with the laws of heaven and earth, giving birth to the aura of the origin of all things. This is the fundamental power to repair the Grand Essence realm. Clan Headley, if you can find these things you mentioned, can you repair the Grand Essence realm? Ningqing looked at Li Feng and asked with a cautious tone. Li Feng already understood Ningqing's meaning. Although he knew that it was impossible, he still felt moved by Ningqing's ambition. He stood up, bowed to Ningqing, and said, Pill Sage Ning, regardless of whether you can find these things or not, I respect you for your dedication to the Grand Essence realm. In fact, even if you find these things, you can't perfectly repair the Grand Essence realm. Without waiting for Ningqing to ask again, Li Feng took the initiative to speak up. Apart from these things, you also need a tree to repair the Grand Essence realm. That is my mysterious crossing ancient clan's growth rings. Not only Ningqing, but even the rest of the people were shocked. The growth ring was the mysterious crossing ancient clan's most precious treasure. Even if Ningqing had this ambition and found the treasure to repair the Grand Essence realm, it would be useless without the growth ring tree. Li Feng looked at the location of the growth ring in the distance and said with a deep tone, the mysterious crossing ancient clan had the growth ring because the Grand Essence realm's laws were broken. After a long time, he retracted his gaze and stared at Ningqing. Pill Sage Ning, if one day you can really collect those things and prepare to repair the Grand Essence realm, my mysterious crossing ancient clan is willing to take out the growth ring. Ningqing's countenance suddenly changed. He had seen too many academy heads, and had also seen too many powerhouses. Only in Li Feng did he see the same feelings as Si Chun and Qiu Tian. Li Feng, in order to refine the mysterious crossing ancient clan, had always been cautious in his dealings with Ningqing. Only when it came to repairing the Grand Essence realm did he act so boldly. He could even take out his growth rings. How could an ordinary person do that? Clan head. Even if he knew that Ningqing couldn't find the Primal Chaos 5 soils, he also knew that Ningqing couldn't obtain the 5 elements spirit water, or the 7 bridges realm book. Jean Malong and the others still stood up in shock after hearing Li Feng's words. Li Feng waved his hand and motioned for the others to sit down. Ningqing quickly stood up and bowed. Clan Head Li's sentiments make Ningqing feel ashamed. I also plan to borrow a tree branch from Clan Head. Li Feng interrupted Ningqing. Pill Sage Ning, even if the growth ring has a branch, it can't grow. The inheritance of the growth ring isn't a branch, but a small cyan root bud. In the face of Li Feng's words, how could Ningqing hide the small seedling he obtained from the growth ring? He was just about to stand up and explain when Li Feng raised his hand again and stopped Ningqing. If I hadn't listened to Pill Sage Ning, I would have taken it back. Pill Sage Ning's words made me understand that no matter how powerful my mysterious crossing ancient clan is, we can't rush out of the Grand Essence realm. We can only live in a corner, and can't even leave the Grand Essence sea. For so many years, I've tried to reach the Tao unification realm, but couldn't because the laws here are broken. As for the growth ring, if you want to repair the Grand Essence realm's time vein laws, you can't do it without millions of years. I hope that Pill Sage Ning will take good care of the opportunity you obtained. In the future, you can really find the treasure to repair the Grand Essence realm and restore the Grand Essence realm. Ningqing fully understood Li Feng's meaning. He obtained a small seedling from the growth ring, and Li Feng knew about it. Originally, Li Feng wanted to find an excuse to take back the small seedling without hurting the friendship between them. However, after listening to Ningqing's ambitions, he gave up on his original plan. Ningqing will not let you down. Ningqing spoke with a respectful tone. What he respected wasn't Li Feng's cultivation and status, but Li Feng's dedication to repairing the Grand Essence realm. Li Feng nodded. Pill Sage Ning came to my mysterious crossing ancient clan. Apart from cultivation, do you want to ask for my help? When Ningqing heard these words, he immediately felt a bit more relaxed in his heart. He knew that Li Feng was definitely ready to help them. As such was the reason why she said those words. Otherwise, even if he said it, Li Feng wouldn't agree. Clan head, please understand. I came here with this intention. I also know that it's a bit difficult, but if clan head doesn't want to, Ningqing can understand. Ningqing spoke with sincerity. Li Feng showed a slight smile. If it were before, I wouldn't have thought about helping you. But now, even if you don't look for me, I will help you. Because you have to kill Mansuatian. Otherwise, what you said just now would be empty. Why? Ningqing asked in confusion. Li Feng spoke in a deep voice. Because Mansuatian has Gung Soil on him. When Man Huishan and I were still in the Tao Essence realm, Gung Soil appeared in the Grand Essence ruins. Mansuatian's strength was slightly better than mine, and he managed to grab the Gung Soil. Now that Pill Sage Ning has taken on the responsibility of repairing the Grand Essence realm, Gung Soil is indispensable. Ningqing felt overjoyed. With Li Feng, a half-step Tao integration expert, helping him, Mansuatian would be one step closer to death. What's more, he also got news about Gung Soil. Maybe one day he could really gather all 5 primal chaos soils and repair the entire Grand Essence realm. Many thanks, Clan Headley. Ningqing will not let Clan Head down. Ningqing's gratitude came from the bottom of his heart. Li Feng, however, didn't show much joy. Pill Sage Ning, Mansuatian and I had similar cultivation. But now Mansuatian has long since abandoned me. It won't be easy to kill Mansuatian. Does Pill Sage Ning have any arrangements? Chapter 1125. Ningqing smiled. He had no plans to kill Mansuatian, so how could he dare to find Mansuatian? I can set up a top-notch divine array, and invite at least 3 primordial chaos experts at the same time. As long as I can lure Mansuatian into my entrapment array and trap him, if a few Tao fusion powerhouses can contain most of Mansuatian's energy, I'm confident that I can seriously injure, or even kill Mansuatian. Ningqing spoke with confidence. Li Feng asked in surprise. Pill Sage Ning, you can arrange top-grade spirit arrays? Are you a top-grade spirit array master? Ningqing came from the Pill Association, so it wasn't surprising for him to invite a few Tao fusion powerhouses. Ningqing was a top-grade spirit array master. Ningqing spoke with certainty. Clan Headley, please believe me. I've come into contact with the Alchemy Tao, Blacksmithing Tao, and Array Tao. My strongest aspect isn't the Alchemy Tao or the Blacksmithing Tao, but the Array Tao. Ningqing didn't say this to ease Li Feng's heart, but because his Array Tao ranked first among everything he learned. It wasn't because he had more talent in the Array Tao, but because he spent the most time on the Array Tao. Coupled with the Jade Strip Nianyan left him with experience in the Array Tao. It helped him reach a higher level. He could come out of the Perpetual Moon sect not only because he cultivated the Sea of Twilight Sunset's Twilight, but also because of his powerful Array Tao. Alchemy Tao, Array Tao, and Blacksmithing Tao were all involved. Li Feng also touched upon the Alchemy Tao, Blacksmithing Tao, and Array Tao. She even touched upon the Talisman Tao. In fact, any Tao-confirming Holy Emperor would touch upon this knowledge. The key was that Ningqing's words were too shocking. Ning Cheng said that his strongest aspect wasn't the alchemy Dao, but the array Dao. One had to know that Ning Cheng was a primordial Dao pill saint, the #1 alchemy Dao cultivator in the entire Grand Essence realm. Seeing Li Feng's surprise for a long time, Ning Cheng took out his void cold light spear and said, "Clan Headley, this is a long spear that I refined myself. Although my blacksmithing Dao is top-notch, it still can't compare to my array Dao. As for my alchemy Dao, I believe that Clan Headley has already seen it from that bottle of heavenly essence heavenly pills." Li Feng's gaze then fell on the void cold light spear in Ning Cheng's hand. A powerful Dao charm radiated from it, indicating that it was a top-grade top-quality spirit artifact. The only pity was that the spearhead of the void cold beam spear seemed to have been partially corroded by the Dao runes, causing the grade of the spear to drop. Li Feng took a deep breath and let Ning Cheng put away the void cold light spear. Only then did she speak up in a serious tone. "Pill Sage Ning, I believe in your attainments in the Dao of Arrays. When you make your move, let me know. Xiao Mozi and I will take action." He didn't ask Ning Cheng, a Dao Essence Divine Emperor, how could he injure Man Suotian? He believed that Ning Cheng wouldn't speak without thinking. Ning Cheng heaved a sigh of relief. With Li Feng, a half-step Dao integration expert, and Xiao Mozi, a primordial chaos expert, joining them, he could relax a lot. As for seriously injuring Man Suotian, Ning Cheng didn't speak carelessly. As long as Man Suotian got entangled in the entrapment array, 5 or 6 Dao fusion experts would attack him at the same time. At that time, Ning Cheng was confident that he could use the 5-colored star splitter arrow to inflict serious damage to Man Suotian. As long as he heavily injured Man Suotian, he could forget about escaping. The 5-colored star splitter arrow couldn't be exposed, especially when his cultivation was still low. But now that he had confirmed his Dao essence, and was the leader of the Pill Association, even if they knew that he had the 5-colored star splitter arrow, not many people would dare to have any ideas about it. It could even be said that with his cultivation at this level, the 5-colored star splitter arrow would be safer. After exchanging communication pearls with Li Feng and the others, Ning Cheng left the mysterious crossing ancient clan. He had burned his Dao charm, but his cultivation had yet to recover. Therefore, he wanted to head to the dragon cleansing pool to restore his cultivation first. Patriarch. As soon as Ning Cheng left, Xiao Mozi and the others asked in confusion. Li Feng had absolute prestige in the mysterious crossing ancient clan, so he agreed to take out the life ring. After all, Ning Cheng couldn't obtain the primal chaos 5 soil and the 5-element spirit water. But the Patriarch agreed to deal with Man Suotian, which was not in line with the mysterious crossing ancient clan's stance. Li Feng looked at the stone platform Ning Cheng teleported to and sighed. If there is someone who can repair the Grand Essence realm, that person must be Ning Cheng. Why? Hu Bing felt puzzled. Ning Cheng's cultivation speed is so fast that I suspected that he had a top-grade treasure. Later, after learning that he needed the 5-element spirit water to repair the Grand Essence realm, he still wanted to give it a try. From this, we can see that Ning Cheng most likely has a good fortune treasure. Ah! Several people exclaimed at the same time. Ning Cheng possessed a good fortune treasure. How was this possible? Li Feng didn't explain. After Ning Cheng cultivated inside the growth ring for the first time, the growth ring had a touch of cyan, which contained the Dao charm of a new life. He knew that it was highly possible that a new inheritance had appeared in the tree ring because of Ning City. The reason why Nianluan was interested in a person was not only because of his cultivation speed. There must be other reasons. When Ning Cheng entered the tree ring for the second time to cultivate, the cyan color was still there. When Ning Cheng came out of the growth ring, the cyan color had already disappeared. What did this mean? This meant that Ning Cheng had taken away the new inheritance in the life ring. However, he couldn't sense any life ring aura from Ning Cheng. The only possibility was that Ning Cheng had a top-grade law treasure on him that concealed the life ring aura. What kind of treasure could conceal the aura of life rings? If it wasn't a chaos treasure, then it was a fortune treasure. Most likely, the life ring chose Ning Cheng's inheritance because of this treasure. Later, when Ning Cheng learned that he needed the 5-element spirit water to repair the Grand Essence realm, he still wanted to look for it. This made him even more certain that Ning Cheng had a good fortune treasure on him. I know, Ning Cheng also has the Seven Bridges Realm book. Hu Bing suddenly said. Li Feng nodded. There are rumors that Ning Cheng knows the Seven Bridges spirit technique, which means that the Seven Bridges Realm book is most likely on him. Pil Sage Ning is a person with great luck. If he really found a treasure to repair the Grand Essence Realm, my mysterious crossing ancient clan is willing to take out the life ring. Because the life ring doesn't belong to the mysterious crossing ancient clan. It originally belonged to the Grand Essence Realm. If the Grand Essence Realm is truly repaired, my mysterious crossing ancient clan would also benefit greatly. As for dealing with Man Suatian, I even agreed to take out the life ring. So why can't I deal with Man Suatian? Ning Cheng didn't know what Li Feng was thinking. But even if he knew, he still felt grateful to Li Feng. At his cultivation realm, even the top 10 sects wouldn't be able to snatch his things. At this time, Ning Cheng was sitting in the dragon cleansing pool to restore his cultivation and Dao charm. The dragon cleansing pool was an excellent place to restore Dao charm and heal injuries. In just over 3 months, the aftereffects of Ning Cheng burning his Dao charm disappeared, and his cultivation stabilized. 3 months later, Ning Cheng left the dragon cleansing pool. He sent a message to Qing Houtian and Li Feng. After arranging a meeting place, he went to the Sunken Fish Palace. The Sunken Fish Palace was one of the top 10 sects, and Ning Cheng had a good relationship with Sin Rushuan. Sin Rushuan even agreed to let Ning Cheng borrow the Sunken Fish Ice Pool for cultivation. Ning Cheng naturally didn't come to the Sunken Fish Palace to find Sin Rushuan. Sin Rushuan had a Dao Essence cultivation. Although she was an expert in the Grand Essence realm, she still wasn't strong enough to deal with Man Suatian. He came to the Sunken Fish Palace to find Palace Master Luan of the Sunken Fish Palace. Palace Master Luan was a powerful primordial chaos cultivator, and her strength was probably a level higher than Protector Ju. If he could pull Palace Master Luan to his side, he would have more confidence in dealing with Man Suatian. Who are you? How dare you break into my Sunken Fish Palace? Ning Cheng had just used the jade card given to him by Sin Rushuan to open the defense array when 2 female cultivators stopped him. Ning Cheng handed the jade card in his hand to one of the female cultivators and said, "Please tell Elder Sin Rushuan that an old friend has come to visit." The female cultivator took Ning Cheng's jade card and looked at Ning Cheng doubtfully before saying, "Dao friend, please wait for a moment." Ning Cheng didn't have to wait long. In just a dozen breaths, Sin Rushuan walked over with a smile. Seeing Sin Rushuan's smile, Ning Cheng secretly heaved a sigh of relief. If Sin Rushuan's face showed the slightest bit of embarrassment, he would have left immediately. "I didn't expect it to be you. Please come in." Sin Rushuan smiled and led Ning Cheng into the Sunken Fish Palace. Compared to the simplicity of the mysterious fairy ancient clan, the Sunken Fish Palace could be described as luxurious. Even the jade pillars on the side of the road had Dao runes carved on them. After walking for less than half a mile, Sin Rushuan brought Ning Cheng into the guest room, which had a strong feminine atmosphere. After asking Ning Cheng to sit down and personally pouring a cup of spirit tea for him, Sin Rushuan said with a smile, "Thank you, Pil Sage Ning, for refining pills for my Sunken Fish Palace last time. It's my honor to have you here today." Ning Cheng knew that Sin Rushuan was a shrewd person, so he said directly, "Senior Sister Rushuan, I'm here to ask for your help." "You want to avenge Guild Master Sichin?" Before Ning Cheng could say what he wanted, Sin Rushuan took the initiative to say it. Ning Cheng nodded. "That's right. I do want to kill Man Suatian to avenge Guild Master Sichin." Sin Rushuan shook her head without hesitation and said, "Pil Sage Ning, my Sunken Fish Palace owes you a great debt of gratitude. However, we know very well the strength of our Sunken Fish Palace. We don't have the qualifications to fight against Man Suatian. If it were anything else, even if I, Sin Rushuan, had to die, I would not hesitate to do it. But this matter? It's not that I can't help you with this matter. Tell me why I want to help you, and how confident you are." Sin Rushuan's words were interrupted by a voice. Sin Rushuan quickly stood up and said to the woman standing at the door, "Sister Luan, why are you here?" Ning Cheng also stood up and said a single sentence. "Without the Sunken Fish Palace joining, I have 70% confidence." If Palace Master Luan joins, I have 80% confidence. After saying that, Ningqing raised his hand and threw out several array discs. At the same time, a long black arrow suspended in the void. Palace Master Luan and Sun Rushuan's expressions changed. They soon understood that Ningqing wasn't going to fight, but to show off his strength. Although these array discs are powerful, they have no effect on Mansuatian. However, the 5-colored star splitter arrow does have some capital. Palace Master Luan's eyes glowed as she stared at the 5-colored star splitter arrow. Only now did she discover that Ningqing was already a Dao Essence powerhouse. I refined these array discs within the time it takes for half an incense stick to burn. It only shows that I'm a divine array master, who can arrange top-grade spirit arrays. That's all. Apart from you, I also invited at least 5 primordial chaos holy emperors, Ningqing said calmly. Palace Master Luan took a deep breath. I'll join. Tell me about your promise after killing Mansuatian. Chapter 1126. Palace Master Luan wanted to explain some things. After all, no matter how confident they were in killing Mansuatian, they had to be prepared. If the barbarian dragon tribe hadn't severely restricted the sunken fish palace, Palace Master Luan wouldn't have agreed to Ningqing's offer. Ningqing didn't wait for her, and went to the Sea Dragon's sacred city first. He made an appointment with the others to meet at the Sea Dragon Sacred City's Sunken Fish Palace rest house. Ningqing had been to the Sea Dragon Sacred City once and saved Mo, an ascetic cultivator. This time, Ningqing sighed in his heart. The last time he came here, he had been chased by a Dao Essence Divine Emperor and fled here. This time he came here to kill a Dao integration expert. Ningqing wasn't in the mood to stroll around the Sea Dragon Sacred City. It was easy to kill a Dao integration expert, but it wasn't easy to do it. Just as Ningqing was about to enter the Sunken Fish Palace rest house, a thin old man with a stooped back slowly walked past Ningqing. Ningqing subconsciously glanced at the old man. He was familiar with the old man's aura, as if he had seen it somewhere before. However, Ningqing soon felt relieved. This old man seemed to be at the end of his lifespan, and had a deathly aura around him. Ningqing naturally saw those who were at the end of their lifespans. Ningqing shook his head. If he couldn't reach the third step in the future, he might follow in the footsteps of this stooped old man. No matter how much lifespan one had, it would run out one day. In the Sea Dragon Sacred City's Sunken Fish Palace rest house, Ningqing waited for about half a day before Palace Master Luan arranged everything and came here. The two chatted for a while before Li Feng and Xiao Mozi arrived. Seeing Li Feng, Palace Master Luan's expression changed. After knowing that Ningqing was the new association master of the Elixir Association, she knew that Ningqing wasn't lying when he said that he could invite a few primordial chaos divine emperors. Although the Elixir Association wasn't as cohesive as the other sects, it had the most primordial chaos divine emperors in the Great Essence realm. However, she didn't expect that Ningqing could invite the mysterious fairy ancient clan, one of the 10 major sects, and even Li Feng to help him. Li Feng was a half-step Dao integration expert. Her help meant that Ningqing had a lot of confidence. After the 4 of them greeted each other, Cheng Hotian arrived. Along with Cheng Hotian were 4 other people. Apart from Cheng Hotian, there were 2 other primordial origin protectors, Zhu Fenghen and Jiu Xian, and a female cultivator. Ningqing also knew this female cultivator. She was the Pill Association's Dao Transformation Pill God Qingyi Holy Emperor. She was also the Deputy Association Master, and a Dao Essence Holy Emperor. The last person was like a middle-aged scholar, looking extraordinary and refined. Ningqing quickly stood up and said, Brother Hotian, Protector Jiu, and Holy Emperor Qingyi, please take a seat. Then he looked at the middle-aged scholar and said, This must be the Dao Transformation Alchemy Saint of the Elixir Association, Alchemy Saint Beit Saixia? Cheng Hotian quickly said, That's right, this is Pil Sage Bei. Beit Saixia, Sacred Emperor Qingyi, and company also went forward and bowed. Greetings, Guildmaster. Guildmaster, you are already at the primordial Dao realm? Protector Zhu looked at Ningqing in shock. He never expected that Ningcheng would advance to the Tao Essence realm in such a short time. Ningcheng quickly spoke up. It's only because of the mysterious fairy ancient clan's annual ring cultivation that I managed to achieve such an effect. Come, let me introduce you all. After some introductions, everyone realized how many experts Ningcheng had invited to deal with Mansuatian. There were 6 primordial chaos experts. Cheng Hotian had perfected the heavenly Tao Essence realm, and was almost a half-step primordial chaos expert. Ningcheng himself had the weakest cultivation level, at the early stage primordial Tao Essence realm. As for the mysterious fairy ancient clan's patriarch, Li Feng, he was a half-step Tao integration expert. With such a lineup, coupled with the fact that they were unprepared, the chances of killing Mansuatian would greatly increase. Guildmaster Ning, I have long wanted to avenge Guildmaster Sichen. However, I know that I would only die if I went alone. Now that you are our Elixir Association's Guildmaster, we will listen to you. We will do whatever you say. Protector Ju was a man of few words. However, he and Sichen Xiaotian had a life-and-death friendship. Now that Sichen Xiaotian had been killed, how could he not come out to avenge him? Palace Master Luan also said, Guildmaster Ning, tell us about the plan. What should we do? Ningcheng nodded. Then I will explain it in detail. Mansuatian is so strong that we can't deal with him one-on-one. If we let Mansuatian escape, it would be our failure. No one spoke. Once an expert like Mansuatian escaped, it would be a disaster for the rest of the sections. I want to use a month to arrange the time-lock spirit array around the barbarian dragon clan. I believe that this array formation can lock Mansuatian for a few breaths of time, as long as everyone attacks Mansuatian during this time. Time-lock spirit array? Before Ningcheng could finish, Palace Master Luan interrupted Ningcheng in shock, and stared at Ningcheng in shock. The time-lock spirit array was the pinnacle of spirit arrays. In the entire Grand Essence realm, no one could arrange it. This array formation not only locked space, but it also used the laws of time to lock space. This array formation was beyond the understanding of ordinary spirit array masters. Guildmaster Ning, are you sure you can arrange the time-lock spirit array? Beit Saixia asked in a deep voice. She wasn't familiar with Ningcheng. However, Ningcheng was just a Tao Essence Holy Emperor and a Tao Essence Pill Saint. If Ningcheng could arrange the time-lock spirit array, it meant that Ningcheng was also a top-grade spirit array master. Putting all these together, Beit Saixia couldn't believe it. Ningcheng looked at everyone's eyes and said with certainty, I'm sure I can arrange the time-lock spirit array. As long as I arrange the time-lock spirit array, no matter how powerful Mansuatian is, he wouldn't be able to escape this calamity. The only thing I'm worried about is that Mansuatian would discover me before I arrange the time-lock spirit array. Everyone suddenly fell silent. With Ningcheng's cultivation, it would be difficult to arrange an array formation without Mansuatian discovering him. Ningcheng quickly said, Everyone don't worry. I have a set of concealment methods. As long as we don't get too close to the barbarian dragon clan, even a Tao Perfection realm expert might not be able to discover us. What if he discovers us? Palace Master Luan said with a frown. If he discovers us, we'll just besiege him. I believe that 6 Tao primordial experts can hold Mansuatian back for a while. Ningcheng gave a simple reply. He didn't believe that Mansuatian could escape his arrow now that he had advanced to the Tao Essence realm. Palace Master Luan shook her head. Without your time-lock spirit array, we might be able to win. But it would be difficult to stop Mansuatian. Mansuatian might not have crossed the second blight of Tao Perfection, but if he succeeded, he would definitely have crossed the first primordial blight. When Ningcheng heard the words first primordial blight, his heart suddenly moved, and he immediately stood up. Association Master Ning, what's wrong? Palace Master Luan looked at Ningcheng in confusion. Ningcheng quickly said, Wait for me. I'll be right back. After saying that, Ningcheng rushed out of the rest stops box. He finally remembered why the stooped old man had a familiar aura. It was the aura of Deva's blight. Back in Jiaoliang Mountain, when he snatched the true young heart, he had encountered a black-robed woman who was crossing the first primordial blight. The woman's weak aura was very similar to that of the stooped old man he had seen before. Moreover, that stooped old man's weak aura was even stronger than the black-robed woman's. The only explanation was that the stooped old man was not only crossing the Deva's blight, but also the second blight of Tao perfection. In the Grand Essence realm, anyone who could cross the second blight of Tao perfection was definitely an expert among experts. Now that he knew about it, how could Ning Qing miss it? To Ning Cheng's relief, he didn't walk for long before he saw an old man sitting on the side of a dilapidated street. From a distance, the thin stooped old man looked like a beggar, weak and helpless. "I'd like to invite you for a cup of spirit tea. What do you think, friend?" Ning Qing walked up to the old man and said calmly. The old man raised his head and opened his blank eyes to look at Ning Qing, but he didn't speak. Ning Qing said again, "I know you're crossing the second primordial blight, the Tao perfection blight. I have something that I want to ask you for help with. Of course, I won't let you do it for free." Although Ning Qing had guessed the old man's identity, he also knew that the old man actually had a small grudge against him. However, given the other party's identity as a Tao perfection expert, he probably wouldn't take such a small matter to heart. When the old man heard Ning Cheng's words, his eyes suddenly flashed. He didn't expect that someone in the Sea Dragon's sacred city would know that he was crossing the Tao perfection blight. Not to mention that the other party was only an early-stage primordial Tao cultivator. Even if he was a primordial chaos holy emperor, had he ever seen someone crossing the Tao perfection blight? Since he hadn't seen it before, how could he recognize that he was crossing the Tao perfection blight? The old man slowly walked towards a rest house and didn't seem to look at Ning Qing. Ning Qing knew that he had agreed to his suggestion, but Ning Qing didn't dare to make any moves against him. Even if he was crossing the Tao perfection blight, he absolutely couldn't afford to offend such an expert. After more than 10 breaths, Ning Qing and the old man were already sitting in a private room of a rest house. The old man said calmly, "Although I'm crossing the second primordial blight, killing you is still as easy as killing a chicken." Ning Qing wanted to make a fair deal with everyone, but he didn't expect the old man to speak so rudely. Moreover, he had guessed the old man's identity, so his tone became a little unhappy. "It's not the first time I've seen a Tao perfection holy emperor, but that's all. Like me, we're both at the second step of Tao confirming. No one is more noble than the other. You're like a rat on the street. I don't need to call you a friend. My Qiqiao can really kill you like a rat." "Qiqiao?" The old man looked up at Ning Qing. "You're Ning Qing of the Pill Association, the primordial Tao pill saint?" Ning Qing said calmly, "You have some eyesight. Maybe when you cross the second primordial blight, I'll already be a primordial chaos holy emperor. So no matter what, it's better to be polite. Not to mention that I have some unhappiness with your sect." Many people knew about his Seven Bridges divine ability, so Ning Qing didn't want to hide anything. Chapter 1127. Do you know who I am? The stooped old man stared at Ning Qing in puzzlement. He really could not figure out how Ning Qing recognized him. Ning Qing spoke up unhurriedly. "If I didn't guess wrong, you're called Shuang from River Luo Sacred Sect." The old man felt relieved. There are only a few Tao integration cultivators in the Grand Essence realm. The one from the 9 Revolutions Sacred Tao Pond is a woman. Mansuatian isn't as handsome as me. He's obviously a monster. I heard that you know the one from the Void Star sect. There are also 2 wandering souls. I'm afraid they won't go through their second blight so soon. Looks like I can only be Shuang." Ning Qing was secretly stifled in his heart. Was this guy handsome? He suddenly thought of a joke. Pigs thought so too. To be honest, Ning Qing really didn't know who the other 2 souls were apart from the 3 Tao integration holy emperors Shuang had mentioned. If he knew, he wouldn't have guessed that the person in front of him was Shuang. "Fellow Taoist Shui, your River Luo Sacred Sect has been very dishonest this time. Mansuatian killed my Elixir Association's guildmaster, and the River Luo Sacred Sect took the opportunity to force us, all for a few spots. Originally, I planned to go to the River Luo Sacred Sect to ask. Now that I see you here, I will ask you in advance." Ning Qing spoke in a cold tone. Shuang chuckled. "I don't have time to care about children's matters. If you go and destroy the River Luo sacred sect, it only means that the fate of the River Luo sacred sect has come to an end. I'm not trash like Man Suatian, who would go to war just to go to the Great Change Realm. Ningqing suddenly became speechless. He wanted to take the opportunity to say that the River Luo sacred sect owed him a favor, and then ask Shuang for help. However, he didn't expect Shuang to be so stubborn. Kid, it's not like I can't help you. Just tell me your conditions. Don't try anything funny. Shuang harumphed. Hearing this, Ningqing simply spoke up. Dao friend Shui, we're both at the second step of Dao confirming. Don't put on airs. The corners of Shui Ying's mouth curled up in disdain. Was the Dao integration of the second step of Dao validation the same as Dao essence? This was a world of difference, alright? If not for the fact that he was still in the Deva's blight, he would immediately let this kid know what Dao integration was. Ningqing acted as if he did not see Shui Ying's disdain and spoke up. Say, if I wanted to hide outside the barbarian dragon clan for a month, is there any way to prevent Man Suatian from noticing my existence? You want to kill Man Suatian to avenge the Pill Association? As soon as Ningqing said those words, Shuang sneered. Ningqing's face sank as he spoke. This is my business. Do you think you can make me do this? What kind of deal do you want? Although he was confident in his concealment cultivation method, Man Suatian was just too strong. Ningqing had no choice but to be careful. It would have been fine if he hadn't met Shuang, but since he did, he naturally had to ask him about his means. There are 6 primordial chaos experts. Even with Li Feng, your chances of success are very low, Shuang said indifferently. Apparently, Shuang knew about the gathering between Ningqing and the others. That's my business, you just have to say that you have no way to solve it. Ningqing replied in a flat voice. Shuang took out a talisman. After activating this talisman and sticking it on your body, you can hide within 100 miles of the barbarian dragon clan for a month without being discovered by Man Suatian. Conditions? Ningqing didn't immediately grab the talisman. Shuang nodded in satisfaction. You can use this talisman first. If you really succeed, come to the River Luo sacred sect to find me. If you die, then consider it my bad luck. Ningqing put away the talisman. Many thanks, Dao friend Shui. But my cultivation is shallow, and I'm timid. I don't dare to go to the River Luo sacred sect alone. If I kill Man Suatian by chance, can you please come to the Heaven Essence Sacred City? I happen to have some things to do in the Heaven Essence Sacred City. You're young, but your schemes run deep. Shuang spoke with a cold voice. After that, he added, if you really kill Man Suatian, what's the harm in going to the Heaven Essence Sacred City? After saying that, Shuang stood up and staggered out of the rest stop. If one had to say which sect had the most people from the Grand Essence Realm to the Grand Change Realm, it would undoubtedly be the Barbarian Dragon Clan. Barbarian Dragon Clan's Man Huishan led a team of 10 people to the Grand Change Realm. This didn't include Man Suatian, who was about to go to the Grand Change Realm. The reason why Man Suatian hadn't gone to the Grand Change Realm yet wasn't because he didn't want to go, but because he couldn't leave right now. He was a Dao perfection expert, a formidable existence in the Grand Essence Realm. But it would be difficult for him to leave the Grand Essence Realm. Man Suatian had already thought about this. In a few years, he would be able to leave the Grand Essence Realm and head to the Grand Change Realm alone. At this time, a majestic Dao charm appeared in front of Man Suatian. These Dao charms crisscrossed each other like a tumbling world. Other people's Dao charm was faintly discernible. Even if it appeared occasionally, it would be under special circumstances. But Man Suatian directly swept up his Dao charm and turned it into something solid. Man Suatian closed his eyes slightly, as if completely isolating himself from everything outside. The majestic Dao charm aura swept up by Man Suatian and formed a regular space. This Dao charm space had already taken an embryonic form. Just as Man Suatian swept up the Dao charm aura and sent it into the embryonic form of the Dao charm space, Man Suatian suddenly opened his eyes, but his hands didn't stop. After a while, Man Suatian closed his eyes again and swept up the Dao charm aura again. Ningqing, who was hiding 100 miles away from the barbarian dragon clan, hadn't started arranging the array formation when he felt an extreme chill. He quickly converged all his vitality aura and integrated it into the surrounding space. At this time, he secretly cursed Shui Ying's talisman for being unreliable. How could he have that feeling of being targeted even with the talisman? After a few hours, Ningcheng was finally convinced that the cold feeling had disappeared. Ningcheng didn't dare to be careless and started arranging the time-lock spirit array with extreme caution. Ningcheng placed down the array flags he had already refined a long time ago, and then carefully moved them around. As time slowly passed, Li Feng and the others hiding in the distance felt even more anxious than Ningcheng. They feared that if Mansuatian discovered Ningcheng arranging the array formation, Mansuatian would kill Ningcheng before they could even make a move. Since Ningcheng started cultivating, he felt that time passed very slowly. After a month, Ningcheng finally dropped down the last array flag and closed the time-lock spirit array. Only then did he feel relieved. The moment the time-lock spirit array closed, the surrounding space paused for a moment, and the flow of time seemed to have accelerated a lot. The rapidly flowing time couldn't integrate into the surrounding space, and could only form a new space. This new space was completely dominated by Ningcheng. The moment the time-lock spirit array closed, Mansuatian's entire body shook. He suddenly stood up and no longer cared about the Dao charm space in front of him. He directly disappeared from his seclusion. Mansuatian had just rushed out of the sea when the time-lock spirit array closed. A powerful binding force swept towards Mansuatian. Mansuatian laughed. Li Feng, I knew it was a coward like you. I, Mansuatian, didn't kill you, yet you dared to come to my barbarian dragon clan. A trivial time-lock spirit array wants to trap me. Mansuatian, you're courting death. Before Mansuatian could wave his hand to tear apart the time-lock spirit array, a murderous intent shot over. It was a gray light that almost covered the sky. As the light descended, it looked like a thick fog that completely locked down the Dao charm around Mansuatian. Mansuatian snorted, then raised his hand and unleashed a golden whip that blotted out the sky. Boom boom. The power of the Dao charm space became even more unstable. Li Feng was the fastest, and his firmament mirror was the first to be blasted apart by Mansuatian. The golden dragon whip's powerful power of the Dao charm space pressed down. Li Feng felt as if his breathing had become suppressed, and it became extremely difficult. Li Feng didn't dare to retreat. He crazily stimulated his spirit energy, wanting to tear apart the whip shadow. The Dao charm space of the whip shadow directly ignored Li Feng's domain. Even the firmament mirror emitted a hoarse roar. Li Feng opened his mouth and spat out an arrow of blood. His sea of consciousness felt a tearing pain. His heart sank. He knew that he couldn't compare to Mansuatian, but he didn't expect the gap to be so huge. One had to know that when he fought with Mansuatian, Mansuatian couldn't suppress him. Now not only was he suppressed, but he was also suppressed by absolute strength. Just as Mansuatian was about to tear Li Feng apart, Palace Master Luan and Xiao Mozi's attacks arrived at the same time. Palace Master Luan's magic treasure was a purple cloud vase, which transformed into purple Dao blades. The Dao blades contained Palace Master Luan's power of the Dao charm space, which also tore Mansuatian's domain apart. Xiao Mozi's offensive magic treasure was the square seal blade. The blade filled the sky with nomological blade seals, which fused with the purple flower vase's Dao charm space. Mansuatian had no choice but to give up the idea of killing Li Feng. If he took out the god-slaying nail, Li Feng would definitely be killed. However, he wouldn't be able to escape Palace Master Luan's purple cloud vase. He knew that the purple cloud vase was an auxiliary magic treasure. Although the Dao blades filled the sky, it was actually an auxiliary magic treasure. Once he was entangled by the purple cloud vase's Dao blades, it would immediately restrict the Dao charm space around him. It wasn't impossible for someone with a weaker cultivation to be sucked into the vase. Inside the time-lock god array, he was already somewhat restricted. Once he was bound by the purple cloud vase, even if he didn't get sucked into the vase, he wouldn't be able to escape Xiao Mozi's square seal blade. What's more, there were 3 more attacks coming right after these 2 attacks. Mansuatian's golden dragon whip swept up the sky full of golden dragon Dao charm space. This Dao charm space almost solidified, which directly blocked Palace Master Luan's purple cloud vase and Xiao Mozi's square seal blade. Palace Master Luan and Xiao Mozi's breathing stagnated. They immediately felt their connection with their magic treasures drop to a freezing point. Palace Master Luan's mind was in chaos. Her purple cloud vase core could move freely, and it had never experienced a situation like this before. Xiao Mozi's strength ranked third among everyone, and he was also the third primordial essence Holy Emperor to attack Man Suotian. Just like Palace Master Luan, he had just taken out the square seal blade. Before it could affect Man Suotian, a terrifying and violent Dao charm space blasted over. A black needle shadow wrapped in this Dao charm space, which seemed to carry the surging aura of an entire world, shot towards his glabella. Ka. At this moment, Ning Cheng's time lock god array started to crack under the terrifying Dao charm space. Ning Cheng had just taken out the 5-colored star splitter arrow, while Zhu Fenghen, Jiao Xian, and Beit Saixia had also taken out their magic treasures. During this time, the offense and defense had exchanged several rounds. Man Suotian's strength had exceeded everyone's expectations. Chapter 1128. Everyone's heart sank, including Ning Cheng's. Don't look at the law power and Dao charm aura roaring. In fact, the fight only lasted for a brief moment, not even half a breath's time. In just half a breath's time, Man Suotian had completely suppressed the 3 strongest experts, Li Feng, Palace Master Luan, and Xiao Mozi. Everyone felt fear in their hearts. Without Ning Cheng's time lock spirit array, Man Suotian would have already killed at least 2 of them. At this time, Ning Cheng's time lock spirit array started to crack. In just 2 or 3 breaths' time, the time lock spirit array would completely collapse. When Xiao Mozi was locked by the god-slaying nail, he felt the aura of death. But under Man Suotian's powerful law power, not to mention escaping, he could only slowly tremble. Ning Cheng's time lock spirit array controlled Man Suotian. Otherwise, he would have ended up like Pill Association's Association Master Si Chun, Qiu Tianyi. He wouldn't have been able to move and would have died under Man Suotian's nail. Ning Cheng felt a chill in his heart. He had tried to overestimate Man Suotian, but he didn't expect Man Suotian's strength to go far beyond his estimation. Without the time lock spirit array, they would have already suffered a crushing defeat. Even a few of them would have died here. Moreover, Man Suotian hadn't crossed the second heaven's blight. What would happen if he crossed the second heaven's blight? His essence blood burned crazily, and the 5-colored star splitter arrow finally came out, suspended in the void. At this moment, the roaring Dao charm aura, the rolling law power, and all the killing power and killing intent froze. Then, the killing power gathered into the 5-colored star splitter arrow and gathered together. A gray aura of death filled the space filled with law power. The black arrow gradually turned illusory in the void, while the 5-colored bow looked like a rainbow. With the power to tear apart a planet, it stood in front of Man Suotian. 5-colored star splitter arrow. Man Suotian suddenly paused and uttered these words word by word. The god-slaying nail finally nailed into Xiao Mozi's glabella. No matter how hard Xiao Mozi tried to move, he only managed to move a small distance. A trace of blood slid down Xiao Mozi's forehead, and he could smell death approaching him. As the god-slaying nail moved half a step further, his essence spirit would be completely imprisoned, and his body would collapse. With Xiao Mozi's strength, he did not have the ability to escape the death suppression of the god-slaying nail. At that moment, the god-slaying nail stopped. All the killing intent Dao runes on the god-slaying nail gradually retracted. Before Xiao Mozi could enjoy the pleasure of escaping from death, he felt another kind of crazy killing intent. This killing intent filled the entire space. No, it should be said that it filled the entire world. Xiao Mozi took a deep breath, forcibly withstood the remnant rule power of the god-slaying nail, which was about to strangle his primordial spirit, and started to retreat slowly. He could see that this endless killing intent wasn't directed at him by Man Suotian, but the terrifying killing intent emanating from Ning Cheng's 5-colored star splitter arrow. This was the killing intent that locked onto Man Suotian. Ning Cheng had finally made his move. Ning Cheng's face remained calm, as if he hadn't heard Man Suotian's words. He still crazily burned his essence blood and stimulated his spirit essence. The 5-colored longbow finally transformed into a gorgeous shadow. Only killing intent continued to gather, only death continued to extend. Zhu Fenghen, Jiu Xian, and Bait Saisha's attacks finally landed on Man Suotian's domain. The Dao charm of Zhu Fenghen's 10,000-layered diamond tree turned into tree shadows. The tree shadows tore through Man Suotian's domain, and thousands of tree needles covered Man Suotian's body. The Dao charm of Jiu Xian's attack was the most dazzling. The dozens of lights even surpassed Ning Cheng's 5-colored star splitter arrow. The wind-fire charm's brilliance was like a kaleidoscope, tearing apart Man Suotian's already shattered domain. At the same time, an pill book suspended over Man Suotian's head. Pill charms, along with the laws of fire, wrapped around Man Suotian like an alchemist and seemed to want to refine him. This was Bait Saisha's attack-type weapon, the pill book. Without the 5-colored star splitter arrow, although these 3 attacks would have caused some trouble for Man Suotian would have at most suffered some injuries. He could have killed Xiao Mozi, torn apart the time-lock spirit array, and then turned Parting Phoenix into ashes. As for Ning Cheng, Cheng Hotian, and Holy Emperor Qingyi, they were just ants in his eyes. After he destroyed the time-lock spirit array, he could kill them at any time. But now Man Suotian didn't dare to move. The 5-colored star splitter arrow had locked onto him, and death was closing in on him. Even if he knew that he could escape from the 5-colored star splitter arrow as soon as possible, he didn't dare to run away. If Ning Cheng was alone, even if he was locked onto by the 5-colored star splitter arrow, he could tear through the death aura of the 5-colored star splitter arrow, and then kill Ning Cheng. But in the current situation, even if he escaped from the 5-colored star splitter arrow, he couldn't escape the other primordial chaos Holy Emperor's joint killing move. He felt sure that if he tore through the 5-colored star splitter arrow's lock, the others would blast him into pieces. He could use his law power to easily break the joint attack of several primordial chaos Holy Emperors. But he couldn't tear through the 5-colored star splitter arrow's lock and block the full-powered attack of several primordial chaos Holy Emperors with his body alone. Crack. Boom. Boom. Man Suotian's domain was torn into pieces by all sorts of attacks. Boundless Dao ripples and flames rained down from the sky, shattering the laws around Man Suotian. Several light blades sliced through Man Suotian's waist, almost splitting him in half. But Man Suotian still didn't dare to move. He waited for Ning Cheng to shoot the 5-colored star splitter arrow. Ning Cheng was an early-stage Dao Essence Holy Emperor. Even if the 5-colored star splitter arrow locked onto him, as long as he shot the arrow, he could regain the initiative. He had long heard of the legend of the 5-colored star splitter arrow. He had heard that this arrow was one of the culprits behind the shattering of the Grand Essence Realm's laws. At the same time, he also knew that only the 5-colored star splitter arrow posed the lowest threat. So what if a Dao Essence Holy Emperor held the 5-colored star splitter arrow? He could still avoid the arrow after it was shot. Man Suotian soon realized that he was wrong. This early-stage Dao Essence Holy Emperor seemed to possess a terrifying sea of consciousness power, comparable to primordial chaos. The surrounding heaven and earth killing intent grew denser and denser. If this continued, even if he was Man Suotian, he couldn't guarantee that he could break free from the 5-colored star splitter arrow. No, it wasn't that he couldn't guarantee it, but he felt sure that he couldn't break free from the 5-colored star splitter arrow. Who are you? Why are you trying so hard to kill me, Man Suotian? Man Suotian finally asked. Even if he was a true dragon, he felt completely suppressed at this moment. Ning Cheng's weakness grew stronger and stronger. Man Suotian's control over the laws of heaven and earth was just too strong. If not for the 5-colored star splitter arrow's lethality increasing as one's cultivation increased, Ning Cheng wouldn't have guaranteed that this arrow could hurt Man Suotian. Boom! Ning Cheng's sea of consciousness finally erupted with a roar, and a powerful killing intent finally poured out. Ning Cheng's body relaxed, and the 5-colored star splitter arrow tore through the surrounding space and shot out with a sharp whistle. All the law power and chaotic Dao charm scattered in front of the 5-colored star splitter arrow. At this moment, Only death remained in front of the five-colored star-splitter arrow. I'm Ningcheng, the new union master of the Pill Union. You killed my Pill Union Si Chen Chiotian and countless alchemists, destroyed my Pill Union, and dyed Heaven Essence Sacred City with blood. I vow to kill you, Man Suatian, to avenge Union Master Si Chen and destroy your barbarian dragon clan for my Pill Union. Today I'm here. When Man Suatian only had the five-colored star-splitter arrow in his eyes, he heard Ning Cheng's voice. Ning Cheng's words about destroying the barbarian dragon clan made his mind churn, and a tearing anger filled his heart. Someone actually dared to say that he would destroy his barbarian dragon clan. You dare. As Man Suatian spoke, the Dao charm around him loosened again. The five-colored star-splitter arrow, wrapped in endless killing intent, arrived in front of him. Man Suatian stretched out his hand. Ning Cheng's words about destroying the barbarian dragon clan had affected his will. He still wanted to grab the five-colored star-splitter arrow. At the same time, he still believed that he could grab the five-colored star-splitter arrow. When Ning Cheng shot the five-colored star-splitter arrow, and said that he would kill Man Suatian and destroy the barbarian dragon clan, Man Suatian reached out to grab the five-colored star-splitter arrow. But at that moment, Cheng Hotian and Holy Emperor Qing Yi threw out dozens of array flags at the same time. The time-lock spirit array, which was on the verge of collapse, suddenly shrank. Even the space and time within the time-lock spirit array seemed to have accelerated. Time flew like an arrow. Time flew like a shuttle. No matter how capable Man Suatian was, he would never have thought that Ning Cheng would integrate his spirit technique into the Tao of arrays and arrange it within the time-lock spirit array. At this moment, the flow of time within the time-lock spirit array was no longer the same as before. At the same time, the space within the time-lock spirit array instantly changed. Man Suatian's hand grasped the five-colored star-splitter arrow, but the five-colored star-splitter arrow directly passed through his palm. Man Suatian's eyes didn't change at all. He opened his mouth and spat out a mouthful of essence qi, which was his life's aura. Even if you manage to stimulate the space-time within the time-lock spirit array, so what? I can still block this arrow. The five-colored star-splitter arrow suddenly stopped under Man Suatian's life's Dao Charm Essence Qi. Seeing this, Man Suatian's mind finally relaxed. As long as he could block the five-colored star-splitter arrow, he would win. Man Suatian also understood that this was the weakest time he had ever been. Perhaps this weakness would only last for a breath, but he had to get through it. Ningqing didn't give him this time. An illusory arrow shadow, carrying with it an aura of life, nailed itself to Man Suatian's glabella. At this moment, the time within the time-lock spirit array no longer fell under Man Suatian's control. Instead, it fell under Ning Cheng's flowing time spirit technique. Man Suatian managed to block the five-colored star-splitter arrow with his life's essence qi despite missing the previous trajectory of the five-colored star-splitter arrow. However, he couldn't block Ning Cheng's flowing time arrow. Flowing time spirit technique's second step, time like an arrow. Time flew by. The flowing time arrow transformed into a long arrow and nailed Man Suatian at his weakest moment, not giving him half a chance. Man Suatian looked at the blood dripping down in disbelief. He felt his vitality disappear instantly after being nailed by the flowing time arrow. A Dao Essence Holy Emperor used the five-colored star-splitter arrow as a cover, and used the flowing time spirit technique to kill him. He slowly raised his head, and his gaze gradually loosened. However, his eyes still looked at Ning Cheng with disbelief. It wasn't until this moment that he understood that Ning Cheng's real trump card to kill him wasn't the five-colored star-splitter arrow, but the flowing time spirit technique integrated into the time-lock spirit array. It wasn't that Man Suatian couldn't grasp the flowing time arrow within the array formation, but that he didn't expect it. He suspected that Ning Cheng's final words about destroying the barbarian dragon clan was also part of Ning Cheng's plan to kill him. Ning Cheng was an extremely terrifying enemy. Unfortunately, Man Suatian still had too many things to do. Chapter 1129. I heard that you killed my friend, Association Master Si Chun, in the Pill Association. Today, I will kill you, Man Suatian, in the Barbarian Dragon Clan. You destroyed my pill union in the past. Today, I will return it to your barbarian dragon clan. Ning Cheng's emotionless tone fell into Mansuatian's ears. He felt that it was a kind of sarcasm. Mansuatian had never thought that a Dao perfection expert like him would be besieged and killed in the barbarian dragon clan of the Grand Essence Sea. When he saw the 6 primordial chaos sacred emperors surrounding him, he only thought about not letting a single one of them escape. He never thought that he would lose or even lose his life. Since when did a Dao Essence Divine Emperor dare to talk to him about revenge? Nailing, it was yet another nailing. If the 5-colored star splitter arrow nailed him to death, then he Mansuatian would accept it. But he Mansuatian was actually killed by a Dao Essence Divine Emperor's time god art. This was a humiliation. No matter how humiliating it was, he could only accept it. Because all of this happened too quickly. From the time he made his move to the time he was killed, how much time had passed? Pooh. Mansuatian coughed out a mouthful of blood. 3 of the Dao lights that were blocked by Mansuatian's Dao ripples landed on his body. Mansuatian slowly knelt down as his life force slowly disappeared. He still stared at the Grand Essence Sea under his feet, unwilling to close his eyes. However, his eyes were filled with the grayness of death, and there was no longer any trace of life. Perhaps it was just as Mansuatian thought. Everything happened too quickly. At this moment, no one was willing to speak. Even after Ning Cheng's time-turning arrow spirit technique nailed Mansuatian, no one dared to take another shot. When Mansuatian was killed, everyone, including Palace Mistress Luan and the heavily injured Xiao Mozi, realized how terrifying Ning Cheng was. Rather than saying that Mansuatian died under the threat of the 5-colored star splitter arrow, it was more accurate to say that Ning Cheng killed Mansuatian. Ning Cheng must have calculated that after Mansuatian caught the 5-colored star splitter arrow, he would have a moment of weakness. But who could seize this moment of weakness? Even if he used his divine ability, he would not be able to kill Mansuatian within a breath of time. Ning Cheng could. Ning Cheng had indeed brought out a spirit technique. However, he had not truly brought out a spirit technique. He had fused his sacred art into the time lock god formation. He had even used Cheng Hotian and Sacred Emperor Qing Yi to accurately grasp this fleeting moment of time. Before joining hands to attack Mansuatian, everyone agreed that Ning Cheng would arrange the time lock god array, while the other 6 primordial chaos holy emperors would trap Mansuatian. Ning Cheng would use the 5-colored star splitter arrow to injure Mansuatian. When Ning Cheng brought out the 5-colored star splitter arrow, Cheng Hotian and Holy Emperor Qing Yi followed Ning Cheng's instructions and used the array flags given by Ning Cheng to change the array. In fact, Ning Cheng had indeed nailed Mansuatian to death. The only difference was that Mansuatian didn't die under the 5-colored star splitter arrow, but under Ning Cheng's time shuttle spirit technique. In other words, Ning Cheng had not told anyone about his trump card. Possessing a powerful array Dao wasn't scary. What was scary was using these methods to make a move when others thought it was impossible. Palatial Master Luan subconsciously shivered. She suddenly thought that if her sunken fish palace offended the new Union Master of the Pill Association one day, would her sunken fish palace end up like the barbarian dragon clan? She was sure that if she were in Mansuatian's position, she wouldn't have guessed that Ning Cheng still had a hidden card by his side. This was probably the most terrifying Dao Essence Holy Emperor she had ever seen. 6 primordial chaos Holy Emperors and 3 Dao Essence Holy Emperors had joined hands to besiege Mansuatian. In the end, the one who contributed the most was Ning Cheng, who had the weakest cultivation at the early stage Dao Essence realm. Ning Cheng took out several medicinal pills and swallowed them. He then took the initiative to give 2 medicinal pills to Xiao Mozi. Only then did he raise his hand to pick up Mansuatian's ring. He then smiled and said, Mansuatian has committed countless crimes and has finally been executed. I will have to trouble everyone with the Barbarian Dragon Clan. As for the Barbarian Dragon Clan's items, we will still distribute them according to what we agreed before. Palace Master Luan took in a deep breath, and was the first to speak up. It's all up to Association Master Ning. Li Feng spoke up with a slightly weak voice. I agree with Palace Master Luan's words. It's all up to Association Master Ning. The people from the Pill Association didn't speak. Ning Cheng was the association master of the Pill Association, so he naturally had the final say. Okay, after we destroy the barbarian dragon clan, I plan to gather the experts from various sects in the Heaven Essence Sacred City to discuss the future plans of the Grand Essence Realm. At the same time, I also want to rearrange the Grand Essence Realm's protective Grand Array. What do you think? Ningcheng spoke about his plan. Ningcheng wanted to take advantage of this opportunity to arrange a powerful defensive array around the Grand Essence Realm. Feng Xian wouldn't be able to find the Grand Essence Realm in a short time. But who could say for sure what would happen in the future? Once Feng Xian found the Grand Essence Realm, it wouldn't be difficult to find him. Once he found the 4 Grand Starry Skies, Feng Xian would most likely turn the 4 Grand Starry Skies into nothingness. Ningcheng also knew that once Feng Xian's strength reached the 4 Grand Starry Skies, he would most likely face suppression from the laws of heaven and earth. But what if there was no suppression? It was always better to be prepared than unprepared. Li Feng already knew that Ningcheng had the idea of repairing the Grand Essence Realm. Now that Ningcheng said that he would gather everyone to discuss the arrangement of the Grand Essence Realm's protective Grand Array, she immediately said, "My mysterious crossing ancient clan will follow the words of Association Master Ning. From today onwards, the mysterious crossing ancient clan will no longer stay in seclusion." Palace Master Luan also expressed her intention to participate in the Heaven Essence Sacred City's meeting. Gu Mingxian stood outside the Heaven Essence Sacred City and didn't enter the city. Behind him, there were 7 or 8 Dao Transformation Holy Emperors. These people were all members of the Pill Association, and he himself was a Dao Transformation Pill deity, and a Dao Essence Holy Emperor of the Pill Association. Several airships flew over Gu Mingxuan's head, but he didn't seem to see them and stood quietly in place. He was waiting for news from the Pill Association's second association master, Cheng Hotian. Cheng Hotian didn't bring him to the Grand Essence Sea to participate in the operation to kill Man Suatian. Instead, he told him to wait outside the Heaven Essence Sacred City and wait for news. Once he received news, he would attack the Barbarian Dragon Clan in the Heaven Essence Sacred City. He wouldn't let anyone from the Barbarian Dragon Clan escape. Another airship flew out of the Heaven Essence Sacred City. Almost at the same time, a message fell into Gu Mingxuan's communication bead. Gu Mingxuan's spiritual consciousness swept through the message. Suddenly, he raised his hand and shot out a gray light. Before the airship could rush out of the Heaven Essence Sacred City's defensive array, it was hit by Gu Mingxuan's gray light and exploded into a cloud of mist. The few cultivators outside the Heaven Essence Sacred City suddenly froze. Those who dared to fly in and out of the Heaven Essence Sacred City were either from the Barbarian Dragon Clan or the City Lord's mansion. Only a few of them were from the 10 major sections. Who was this? Who dared to destroy the airship outside the Heaven Essence Sacred City? Gu Mingxian, you dare to touch my Barbarian Dragon Clan's people. A Barbarian Dragon Clan's Dao Transformation Holy Emperor rushed out and shouted. If Gu Mingxuan's cultivation wasn't higher than his, he would have already killed Gu Mingxian. In just a short time, the entrance of the Heaven Essence Sacred City was filled with people. The Heaven Essence Sacred City wasn't as prosperous as before. But as the premier sacred city of the Grand Essence domain, it still had a lot more people than ordinary places. Gu Mingxian flew up and stood outside the Heaven Essence Sacred City. He said loudly, Barbarian Dragon Clan's Man Suatian is lawless and disregards the rules of the Grand Essence Realm. A few years ago, in the Heaven Essence Sacred City, he destroyed my Pill Association's headquarters and killed my association master Si Chun, Qiu Tian, and countless alchemists. Today, my Pill Association's new association master, Pill Sage Ning Cheng, announces to all Dao friends in the Grand Essence Realm that the Pill Association will kill Man Suatian to avenge Association Master Si Chen. The Barbarian Dragon Clan disregards the peace rules of the Grand Essence Realm and will be removed from the Grand Essence Realm by the Pill Association. From today onwards, the Barbarian Dragon Clan will no longer exist in the Grand Essence Realm. Boom. Gu Mingxuan's words were like an atomic bomb thrown into the crowd, setting off a huge wave. Gu Mingxian didn't care about the shock of others. The weapon in his hand once again rolled up a gray light and turned the barbarian dragon clan's Dao transformation pill sage into a cloud of blood. Everyone stared at Gu Mingxian. Even if the City Lord Mansion's Dao Essence Holy Emperor came, no one dared to stop him. Gu Mingxian glanced at the City Lord Mansion's Dao Essence Holy Emperor and said again, "From today onwards, the Heaven Essence Sacred City will be taken over by the Pill Association. Anyone who dares to control a weapon to fly in the Heaven Essence Sacred City's no-fly zone will be killed without mercy." Gu Mingxian had just spoken up to hear when another flight-type weapon flew over. This airship didn't fly from the Heaven Essence Sacred City to the outside. Instead, it flew from the outside to the Heaven Essence Sacred City. This time, without waiting for Gu Mingxian to do anything, the other 7 or 8 Pill Association Holy Emperors directly took action. The airship with the City Lord Mansion's name engraved on it immediately disintegrated in the air under the 7 or 8 attacks. "Gu Mingxian, your elixir society is too overbearing. How dare you destroy the flying ship of my City Lord Mansion?" The Dao Essence Divine Emperor of the City Lord Mansion couldn't stand watching anymore. He flew out. Gu Mingxian said with a calm tone, "If you do anything, I will think that the City Lord Mansion has declared war on my Pill Association. If you can bear this responsibility, then let's fight." The City Lord Mansion's Dao Essence Holy Emperor froze. Could he bear this responsibility? Even if he had to bear it, it depended on what responsibility it was. Just now, Gu Mingxian said that Pill Association's Ning Cheng had become the new association master. He also said that he wanted to kill Man Suotian and destroy the barbarian dragon clan. This news was too outrageous and scary. But because of this news, he didn't dare to do anything. Ning Cheng was a Dao Essence Pill Saint, so his cultivation wasn't much. But the Pill Association wasn't simple. The Pill Association had several primordial essence Holy Emperors. Although they couldn't compare to barbarian dragon clan's Man Suotian, they could easily destroy the City Lord Mansion. That's right, if they couldn't compare to Man Suotian, it meant that Pill Association's Ning Cheng overestimated himself and was courting death. Thinking of this, the Dao Essence Holy Emperor sneered. "I'll let you be arrogant for a few days. When Man Suotian kills everyone in the Pill Association, my City Lord Mansion won't be able to destroy the last brick of the Pill Association." Seeing this Dao Essence Holy Emperor stunned, Gu Mingxian sneered. "Dao friends, apart from my Pill Association's Association Master and several Primordial Essence Holy Emperors, there are also several Primordial Essence Holy Emperors from the mysterious Travel Ancient Clan, Sunken Fish Palace's Palace Master, and River Luo Sacred Sect's Dao Integration Holy Emperor, Shuang." Previously, some people still thought that Gu Mingxian was bluffing. However, after Gu Mingxian mentioned the River Luo Sacred Sect's Dao Integration Holy Emperor Shuang, everyone knew that Man Suotian and the Barbarian Dragon Tribe were done for. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.